ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers.
All right, everybody, we welcome you in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Excuse me. Let's reset that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers, the divorce and family law firm of the Miami Valley area, with 5 attorneys to meet your needs. Kev, happy Wednesday.
Good Wednesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It didn't wear green.
Nope.
Luckily, Rona don't pinch me, don't touch me, don't go near me. We're good. We're good. I hope everyone's had a good day. By the way, it's the first time in a while we've had back-to-back 3-hour shows, so there's that.
Welcome back. In the normal world, your show probably would be on the road right now.
Well, yeah. Well, where?
I don't know. I mean, there's many a pub in town that we could have did your show from. We'd have been all over the place, drinking green beer, having a good time. I know a couple places are still having festivities and everything like that, but we're in the studio.
So there's that. That's what you got to do. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot to discuss today. We're going to talk a lot of March Madness today, not just on the college side, but on the high school side as well. High school state Final Four this weekend at UD Arena, the OHSAA Boys State Tournament. A couple local teams going to be in action. CJ, Chaminade Julian, they're going to be in action, as well as Centerville. In fact, we're going to be hearing from Centerville Elks head coach coming up here in just a little bit. We'll have Brook Cups on. We'll talk about the Centerville Elks. Magical season again. Division I, that is a very, very tough regional to come out of, and they were able to, of course, fight through that and able to get a big win and advance to their very first state championship or state tournament appearance ever. How about that? I mean, they've had a lot of really good teams, especially I think there's a lot of recent ones too that it's hard to get over that hump. There's a lot of really good teams, especially out of Cincinnati, Cleveland, everywhere else. So nonetheless, congratulations to the Elks, but we'll hear from their head coach coming up here in just a bit. So I want to open up with more reaction to NFL free agency as that activity continues. Not a whole lot happened after we got off the air yesterday. Browns and Bengals both kind of quiet on that front. The Bengals at this point have given up. At this point, they're sticking to, they're going to wait it out. I do believe at some point they're going to add some offensive linemen. I'll never understand that if I ever owned a team, Kev, and again, I get that money, you have to stretch money out, but it's rare that you have 40 plus million during a free agency period that has a lot of depth at the one position that you need the most. Yes, you need guys on defense. Yes, you need help at a lot of different positions, but those other positions mean nothing if you cannot protect the number one asset on your team, which is your quarterback. So I'm not going to go into detail and repeat everything that we talked about yesterday, but the Bengals have made it clear they're going to wait it out. They've loaded up the defense. They did the defense last year and this year. I get it. Defense wins championships, and defense is very important, but let's be clear. You're going to be a very good defensive team, but if you look at the teams that were in the AFC, NFC title game, the one thing that they all had in common, all great offensive lines. Mm-hmm. Every single, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, that's what it came down to in the Super Bowl. Yes, you can argue, it was Tampa's defense that was the difference maker. No. The Chiefs' offensive line was the difference maker. Then, Patrick Mahomes not having the two big dudes up front to help protect him. Patrick Mahomes didn't look like an all-time great all of a sudden. Patrick Mahomes didn't look like a guy that has won an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, and been back-to-back Super Bowls in his first 3 years in the league. When you don't have that offensive line, you have nothing. When the Chiefs have nothing, who've been the most exciting team in football the last 3 seasons, when they have nothing because their offensive line goes down, that right there shows you that defense means absolutely nothing. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had probably arguably the best offensive line, especially when you consider how healthy they were down the stretch. But every single team that was making deep playoff runs, that won playoff games, all had great offensive lines. Yes, defense is important, but as I said yesterday, when you have a lot of holes to fill, you got to prioritize it. And I do not believe the Bengals have done a good job of prioritizing the holes that they need to fill. Sure, you can go after average players. If we go after the average players, they're cheaper. Well, you get what you pay for. That's just what I don't get. If you're willing to spend $60 million on a pass rusher, which you need a pass rusher, that's fine. But overall, your long-term team success stems from your quarterback. And that's why I'm baffled at why they're not working from that side of the ball first and going out. I'm done ripping the fans. I'm done ripping the organization. Actually, no, I'm not done. The Bengals organization's an embarrassment. There, I'm done. After that, I'm done. But it's still, it is. Dean Nance, I'm not beating a dead horse. Your team's trash. Go away. That's all I have to say about that. He comes in here. He tells me he can't stand my takes on everything. That's fine. Take it elsewhere. I'm moving on to something else. if you just let me get there. I mean, my goodness. He goes, talk some basketball and leave the dumbass Bengals alone. Get the hell out of here. Don't come in here and tell me what to talk about. See my name at the top where it says my show. I'll talk about whatever the hell I want. How about that? It's a good start to the Wednesday already. Blood pressure's already off and rolling. Moving on to the Browns real quick, too. Browns out of the number one safety that they were looking at in free agency. They've been kind of quiet on that front. Some other big moves that have happened, though. AJ Green, not really a big move, I guess. AJ Green. Going to the Falcons. Or I'm sorry, the Cardinals. The Cardinals. Man, they love old receivers, don't they? They love Fitzgerald. They love Fitzgerald. They love AJ Green. Look, I mean, again, that's a team that continues every year. They're looking for as many assets as they can to help Kyler Murray. They got Hopkins. They have Fitzgerald there. Obviously, they go out and they get J.J. Watt. I mean, I know J.J. Watt's on the defensive side, but their offensive line's not terrible. They're in pretty good shape there. It's just about providing him with weapons. That's a tough division. Ultimately, the Chicago Bears went heavy and trying to get they were willing to give up 3 first-round picks to go after Russell Wilson. Ultimately, they didn't feel like pulling the trigger on that. The reasons that I found out today, too, of why they didn't pull the trigger on that is Pete Carroll says that he's too old to go through a rebuild. Well, that's where the organization really needed to come together and say, well, this isn't about what's best for Pete Carroll. This is about what's best for the organization. And I think that if you already have a disgruntled quarterback who this isn't just, something bad happened and he wants out. He's thought about it. He had a list ready, Kev. Mm-hmm. It's not as if he threw a temper tantrum and said, get me out of here. I don't care where, just get me. He had a list. He was prepared. He was mentally prepared to take his talents elsewhere. I think that the Seattle Seahawks, I really do think they should have not done what was best for Pete Carroll and probably done more what was best for the organization. And the organization as a whole, to me, I think probably should have taken the deal. I get it. Pete Carroll is old. He's too old to go through a rebuild. But you may have given up an opportunity to get the best return you can. I will say this, though. Taking on that cap hit, though, was going to be a big killer to them moving on from him anyway. I never looked at Russell Wilson moving on this season anyways. I do think he'll be gone by next offseason, though. Yeah,
Pete Carroll is going to be 70 in September. He doesn't look his age. Like, he looks great. Like, he's so young looking. He's so vibrant on the sidelines and everything like that. When I saw that he was currently 69 years old, I was blown away. I did not know he was that old. Pete Carroll, you look great, man. Now, as far as the Seahawks are concerned, this is kind of almost the same way I look at it with the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson. You have a disgruntled player that you can basically rebuild your team with. And them in Houston being stubborn, basically not doing things out of spite. And what Seattle is doing, they're looking out for the coach. I don't think the coach is out there on the field making the plays. The players make the plays. Yeah, the coach coaches them up and everything, execute, yada, 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 all that good stuff. But as an organization, I would lean on the side of making sure we are a good team in the future, as opposed to just, all right, man, we already know that we got Russell. We're probably going to win anywhere between 10 and 12 games, regardless of who he's throwing the ball to, who's blocking for him. We're probably going to win somewhere between 10 and 12 games. Is the rebuild starting now or later? If the Bears are willing to give up 3 first-round picks, all right, Russ, looks like you're headed to Chicago. We'll take those 3 first-round picks. And judging from everything that Seattle does in the draft, finding DK Metcalf and all the defensive players like the Legion of Boom. Fun fact about the Legion of Boom, none of those guys were drafted in the first round outside of Earl Thomas. Cam Chancellor, 3rd round pick. Richard Sherman only played 1 year at DB when he was at Stanford. He was a wide receiver his first 3 seasons until he converted to cornerback. So getting these players and putting them in your system, you've shown the ability to draft players and develop them. So why don't you just go ahead and do that again? And you're going to get a king's ransom for a very good quarterback in Russell Wilson. We all know that. But, hey, man, if you're trying to give me 3 first-round picks, let's do it.
The other thing, too, in the Bears, on the flip side, the Bears are getting beat up a little bit as well for the signing of Andy Dalton. I think it was like a $10 million deal. $3 million guaranteed within that or something along those lines. I got to go play. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that Andy Dalton got a starting gig, going to be the starting quarterback for the Bears. Nick Foles still on that team as well. It's interesting. I mean, let me ask you, resume wise, Nick Foles is the sexier of the two, but Andy Dalton's resume is not terrible, but when you have Super Bowl MVP on your resume, that's going to trump a lot. The Bears screwed up. For one, the Bears should have never traded for Foles anyway. The Jaguars are the ones that gave him that big deal a few years ago, coming off of that Super Bowl MVP season with the Eagles. And then the Jaguars, of course, that 1 year they knew they were going. I mean, it was a 2 year tanking process for the Jaguars because they ultimately moved on from him after that first year. That's when they started Minshew and kind of went from there. The Bears are a mess in the front office. They are a mess as far as trying to figure out finding the quarterback. This is why when I beat up on, that team that Dean Nance told me I'm not allowed to talk about, which, by the way, if we're all about giving the people what they want, my whole entire comment section is full of nothing but people wanting to talk Bengals. So guess what, Dean Nance? I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm going to do what they want. The reason I'm so hard on the Cincinnati Bengals is because you have an organization in the Bears that have a defense, Kev, that they've had a top 10 defense. They've had a top 10 defense for basically how many straight decades now? And the one thing they have not been able to figure out is quarterback. They have not been able to put a quarterback with that. So that's fine. Load up your defense. But until you find a quarterback, nothing else matters. And the Bears are trying to figure that out. You give Russell Wilson that Bears defense. You give Aaron Rodgers that Bears defense. You give that defense to any of those other quarterbacks. Look out. Because the Bears don't have a terrible offensive line. Right. The run game's not terrible. They've had weapons, Robinson and others, but the Bears haven't invested into those skill position players because they don't feel like they have the quarterback that's going to, basically get the most out of those guys, right? Like that's kind of where we're at when it comes to that. It is very important for the Bears to find a quarterback, and I think Andy Dalton, and it's tough. And this is what we've talked about. This is why I hate the pro sports in general. The Bears' only chance of getting that elite level quarterback or being in position to do it is to tank. Get rid of every key piece you have on the defensive side, unload everything you have on offense, do what the Jaguars did, and put yourself in position to be able to get a franchise quarterback. It's the only way these teams can survive, because even though you have cap space, it doesn't mean that you are guaranteed to go get an elite quarterback. And you end up almost risking overspending. Hit the market.
Elite quarterbacks normally get re-signed. The crazy thing about the NFL, and that I find amazing, that the Chicago Bears, such a storied franchise in the NFL and everything like that, I would imagine their best quarterback is Jim McMahon back in the 80s and everything like that. And then you take and look at their biggest rival, the Green Bay Packers. You can't tell the story of the NFL without talking about Bart Starr, without talking about Brett Favre, without talking about Aaron Rodgers. So your biggest rival...
Maybe Jordan Love. You never know.
Yeah. So your biggest rival has 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and you got none. You got none. How is that possible? I started doing that exercise when I saw that Andy Dalton went to the Bears and everything like that. And I started thinking about what are all the teams that have Hall of Fame quarterbacks? So you look at the Colts, they got Johnny Unitas. You obviously they got Peyton Manning. And then what do they do after Peyton Manning hangs it up? They get Andrew Luck. Now, Andrew Luck, his career was cut short because of injuries and everything like that, but he was well on his way to being a great quarterback. Now they have Carson Wentz, and they have one of the best offensive lines in the game. So it's amazing that some teams can always find their trigger man, and some teams just can't do that. And the Bears have been trying to find somebody to lead their franchise from the quarterback position for decades. I mean, they made it to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman at the helm. And I know people are going to say, Rex Grossman, he had a great season that year. And yeah, they were led by the defense, Urlacher and all those guys, but he did a good enough job. But if you're talking about Rex Grossman is your second best quarterback in your franchise history, that's a problem, bro. That is a big problem.
It is. And this is why teams fall in love with average quarterbacks. This is why Bengals fans were uneasy for the longest time with Andy Dalton. It's tough to find Andy Daltons in the NFL. Like, Andy Dalton's still okay. I don't think he's not, you're not going to build your team around him. The Bears got him as a last, it was just a last ditch effort to at least have something there. But that's why you see a lot of teams fall in love with average quarterbacks, because the fear of being without it, the fear of being without even an average quarterback, outweighs the fear of trying to pursue a great one. So that's kind of where we're at with this, where, the Bengals had a top 5 defense in those 5 straight playoff runs that they had, right? Throughout different stretches, that defense was amazing. That's why they were winning a lot of games. And to be fair, Andy Dalton and the offense was not as bad as what they, a lot of times get credit for. But because it just wasn't the sexiest attack in the world, the fans wanted that, oh man, if we upgraded at quarterback, we're a better quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. That was kind of the thinking when it came to the Cincinnati Bengals and Andy Dalton. But the same thing across the board. You look at the Jets. Right now, they have no clue what to do. Sam Darnold, good enough. He's okay. It's like, okay, if we have all these holes that we have to fill and we have an okay quarterback, do we really need to, basically break up everything to go find a quarterback when we have an okay quarterback? I think, Kev, honestly, it is worse it's worse to be the Bears right now. It is worse to have capable quarterbacks than it is to have no quarterbacks. Because when you have no quarterback, Kev, it's easy to do what the Jaguars did. We have Gardner Minshew. We are tanking, baby. But when you have a Sam Darnold, I think that's what's making the Jets' decision so tough. Do we draft another quarterback, or do we just tough it out with Sam Darnold and spend all of our money and give him every weapon possible? Because if you give him every weapon possible and he ends up not being what he's supposed to be, now the GM, now the coach, now they're all in trouble because they're not winning, and it's because of the quarterback. I'm telling you, when you don't have a quarterback, it's better than having an average quarterback, because at least you know what direction to go in. When you have an average one, you don't know what direction to go in, and you kind of just spin in circles. That's what happened with Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. I think that's what people are fearing is going to happen in Dallas with Dak Prescott, although I've seen the growth of Dak and the playmaking ability over the last couple of seasons. But like, for instance, your Steelers, from what you've seen from your backups, the Steelers are stubborn. They keep bringing them back every year, right? Like, I don't know if Big Ben retires next year. Are they going to be stubborn and stick it out with those guys? Or are they going to completely replan everything and go after a franchise quarterback? You cannot be stuck on an average quarterback. And I think that's the worst thing that can happen.
I think the Bears situation is so unique, man, because of everything going on in front office management. When you drafted Mitchell Trubisky, second overall. Now you jumped up in the draft to grab him and everything like that, but you never invested in him any otherwise. So your investment was, after he gets drafted, you fire the coach, and then you hire another coach that doesn't believe in Mitch Trubisky. So he was doomed from the start, because you never bought in, and then you have so much turnover so fast, and now you're on to another quarterback. It's just a train wreck, man. I just look at everything going on with Nagy and everything like that. Like, we look at a game manager like Jimmy G. You and I differ about Jimmy G, but there's no denying that, hey, man, he's winning games, right? We both agree that. So when Mitchell Trubisky was doing the exact same thing for the Chicago Bears, the coaching staff deemed it not good enough, right? Remember, they were like, 4-0 to start the year off or whatever. Some crazy comebacks in the fourth quarter over the Lions and everything like that. And then they benched him. Nick Foles. Then they win, they go 1-4 with Nick Foles. And then you bring Mitch Trubisky back into the starting lineup. Then he leads you to the playoffs. And now we're getting rid of him. So what is it? That's why when Carson Wentz was on the table and the Bears was one of the possible landing spots, if I was him, I would be screaming, no, not the Bears, because they don't know what they're doing. He's on the hot seat. Not only the coach on the hot seat, the GM on the hot seat. So let's say we go 8-8. Then we're going to get a new head coach again. I was all about Wentz getting to Indianapolis because they look like they have things somewhat in control, somewhat in order. They have an offensive line. They got playmakers. Like, everything that they're doing with the Bears is just wrong offensively. Whatever they're doing on defense, thumbs up. Whatever they're doing on offense, thumbs down.
So to sum up, and my goal was to start the show today without attacking the Bengals, more so giving my opinion on the Bengals. But then you have, the awesome Dean Nance dude over here who just goes off. He says, still beating the dead horse, move on, talk some basketball, and leave the dumbass Bengals alone. He gets all upset, but then everyone else wants to talk Bengals. So I say all of that because I understand the importance of defense. Trust me. And by the way, whenever the offensive line gets fixed up with what the Bengals have done defensively, the Bengals are closer than we actually think. They're actually, I shouldn't say than we think. I just said a while back, I think that the Bengals are a lot closer than a lot of people give them credit for, especially now with the defense being what it is. They're, a tweak to the offensive line away from finally taking this team to that next level. But to your point that we're talking about, it's tough to, when you look at Carson Wentz, you can't fix a quarterback in a rebuilding situation. You have to give him weapons to work with, which is why I think Baker took that next step this year. He had all these weapons. He had the offensive line fixed. They had a good quality coach. When you put a quarterback that's trying to improve in a stable situation, Kev, you know what they only have to focus on is improving. They don't have to worry about, okay, this play I'm supposed to do this, but man, I really hope that the line can give me just a split second for me to be able to go through my reads and progressions. And guess what? When that doesn't happen, these guys are trash. Maybe it's going to come to Carson Wentz didn't get as much protection. He was hit a lot. That was the other problem when it came to him in Philadelphia. And maybe it'll be better by the time, with him coming up with the Colts. Couple comments here from some of the Bengals fans in the feed. Trey Green says, AJ Green is somebody else's problem now. That dude's a porcelain doll, always hurt. AJ Green, when he did stay healthy last year, he just didn't seem to have that burst. He didn't seem to be the old AJ Green. He just seemed to be old AJ Green. And you're right, he is another team's problem now. And I think that he needed to be gone. I think that the Bengals needed to rid themselves of no offense to AJ Green, one of the Bengals' all-time greats, no disrespect. But sometimes when you're too loyal to a guy that's holding a spot for someone else that's going to help the offense take that next step. With him being gone now, I think that the Bengals can explore their options, especially with the draft coming up. There's a lot of receivers in this draft. There's a lot of offensive linemen, of course. But their goal sounds like they're going to fix this offense in the draft. I just don't think you could do that with too many rookie young players. You can't count on every young player just to grasp the NFL game all at the same time. Tommy Pennington says, I'm a diehard fan since 1980. Bengals fans, are you surprised, Kenner? I'm not really sure what you're asking if I'm surprised about, but if you're asked if I'm surprised about how bad they are, no, I am not. Ryan Strauss. Again, we're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. You can leave your comments in the chat section. I don't yell at everybody, just a select few. But Ryan Strauss says, I'm not a Bengal fan, but if you don't think Joe Burrow is seeing what Russell Wilson is doing, this is an interesting comment. He goes, if you don't think that Joe Burrow is seeing what Russell Wilson is doing in Seattle, calling out the offensive line and lack of protection, and in the age of player empowerment, another bad year behind that line, and Joe will not be signing any type of extension. And I agree with you. It's set up, though, to where the players always sign the extension, mainly because that's where they get their most money. And so maybe he will. But you're right. I never understand why young quarterbacks don't pay attention to what's going on, with quarterbacks in similar situations. If I'm Joe Burrow, I am paying attention to what Russell Wilson is doing. Russell Wilson is screaming for help, and it's not just because of last season. He's been screaming for help for years. Russell Wilson's a guy that got to back-to-back Super Bowls, won one of them, and hasn't been back since because, yes, he got paid, and they haven't been able to fill the roster up with as many great players, but they've been able to fill it up with other great players, but they've ignored the offensive line, and he's had enough. He, as you talked about, Kev, he went to the front office and said, here's my suggestion of how we can run this offense to kind of keep me from getting hit as much. They ignored him. He's had enough. He wants out. Joe Burrow, pay attention. Bengals fans, pay attention. It's not that hard. You're seeing it around the league. These guys don't want to get hit. Why would they? Couple more. Tommy Pennington says Carson Palmer left for the same reasons. Absolutely. And they have not changed since then. Pennington also says they lost Lawson and Jackson, so they replaced them. I don't understand why they didn't spend money or trade for offensive linemen. They are getting rid of Marvin Lewis guys too. Started last year with Dunlap. Yeah, the NFL, Kev, it is no more. You get 4 years to rebuild. You kind of get like a year and a half, right? And the rebuild that's why I've said this about Urban Meyer and the Jaguars. He's not going to get a lot of time. I'm not saying he'll be canned after 2 by any means. I'm just saying you'll be able to tell after year 1 or 2 if they're responding to Urban Meyer. I don't think the Bengals are responding to Zach Taylor, so I just don't get it. But Tommy's right. They didn't get better. They just replaced guys. That's not getting better. All right, we'll step away. We have some callers on hold. We'll get to you guys right away on the other side of the break. More of the Justin Kinner Show presented by Kirkland and Summers when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 70. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a low around 52. And tomorrow's going to be cloudy with rain, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spive at 1410 ESPN Radio.
There's only one thing to say about America's biggest night of television. It's insane.
Even a famous guest ever.
But first, the Masked Singer panel was speechless at last week's reveal. But as 5 new singers storm the stage, that's just the beginning of the surprises.
Amazing!
Then, can you guess someone's talent?
Fire thrower. Bone breaker.
Before they perform.
Show us your talent.
Wayne Brady hosts the new hit Game of Talents after the Masked Singer, Fox tonight.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live? While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Homestead Feed and Supply is proud to introduce a new product line straight from Texas. Stock Show Secret Products and Flex Appeal. Make your project look the best. Only available at Homestead Feed and Supply. New Carlisle. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 Mack Oil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
I'm giving Jeb's basement renovations 1 star. He kept asking me what's behind the walls down there. I'm like, why? What do you know?
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
And then he's like, you can trust me with the job. And I'm all like, trust?
And while Progressive can save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Yeah, he charged me less than he said he would, which is lying.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now apply 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You really turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
Right now at Wendy's, with the Biggie Bag, you get a bacon double stack, 4-piece crispy or spicy nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That's a bag with real value. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on The Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Kirkland and Summers, the divorce and family law firm of the Miami Valley area with 5 attorneys to meet your needs. We appreciate their partnership in sponsoring the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 1410 Wing AM. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and coming up on Friday, 3 o'clock, the Ohio State Buckeyes will tip off March Madness in their first round matchup with Oral Roberts. They're a 15 seed, and Ohio State, of course, the 2 seed. And apparently there's a lot of chatter. I guess Joe Lenardi was asked about, the biggest upset that he's envisioning in the first day of games, and he's picking Oral Roberts over Ohio State. Here's the deal. This is why I laugh when people get all in an uproar. I don't follow Oral Roberts. So to give you there's no chance in hell. Of course, you're going to say there's no chance in hell in a 15 versus 2. I have to say, if Ohio State plays the way that they did with that same kind of energy and urgency in the Big Ten tournament, I don't see anybody beating them to at least the Elite 8 in Final 4 rounds if they can get that far. It just depends who shows up. And again, Kyle Young is going to be key in that. I don't fear Oral Roberts, but you know what? Every radio host in every city of the higher seeds heading into the first weekend of the NCAA tournament say the same thing. And at least one of those hosts looks like an idiot on their first show after the NCAA tournament. I have enough things that make me look like an idiot. I don't need to say here. Look, you can never say never when it comes to March Madness. I'm not going to come out here and say there's no chance that Oral Roberts wins because it is the NCAA tournament. But I will say that there's no reason to be concerned, especially if Ohio State plays the way that they did in the Big Ten tournament, especially after closing out that 4-game losing streak to close out the regular season. So we'll see.
We'll see. They do have the nation's number 1 scorer on there. His backcourt mate. Well, he averages 25 points. His backcourt mate averages 18. So, the backcourt, how they talk about in March Madness, guards dominate and everything like that. By the looks of the numbers, they have really good guard play. But I do believe the Buckeyes will handle business, and they're going to need to handle business because in order for everybody to be at 100%. What's buddy that got a concussion?
Kyle Young,
yeah. He got a concussion. So, you want to give him as much time as he needs to get back on the court because he's the tough guy of the team. You know what I'm saying? I know that he leads the team in rebound and everything like that. You're going to need that later on.
He's the Trey Landers, Ryan Mikesell of last year's team, the Energizer Bunny. Like those, yes, it was all about Obi and Jalen last year, but that team is only as good as what Ryan Mikesell and Trey Landers would allow them to be, just being those glue guys, as everyone likes to refer to them as. That's Kyle Young, definitely the glue guy. But I think he brings to the table more than just glue guy, mentality. But no, they're going to definitely need him if they want to make a deep run into the NCAA tournament. I do believe they should be fine, though, in the first week.
Yeah, it's like you said, though. It's a one-and-done tournament. Ask Duke about Lehigh and this dude named C.J. McCollum from up there in Canton, Ohio, and he dropped 30 on him and then got drafted to the NBA. Now he's an NBA baller and everything like that. So there's guys out here. There's so many people that play basketball that we don't know about. And especially this year where everybody wasn't watching as much college basketball as they normally did because games are getting canceled and everything like that. There's tons of guys out here that can play some good basketball. And on that given day, somebody can get scorching hot from 3-point land and drop 40 on your head and you're out in the first round. So come with your A game. Let's play some good basketball, and let's beat the snot out of Oral Roberts.
All right, 457-9464. That's the number you can call in and jump in on the conversation. We're also live on Facebook. Listen, stream, and now watch. Listen on 1410 Wing AM. Stream us at wingam.com, and you can now watch the show on the ESPN Dayton Facebook page, or the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, and the ESPN Dayton Facebook page as well. All right, let's go to the phones, Kev. Who we have? And we were opening up talking NFL free agency, so if that's what the callers are calling in about, more than welcome to. We'll go wherever they go. Kev, who we got?
We got Chris.
Chris, thanks for holding, man. How are you? I think we lost Chris. Chris, we'll get him back on the line whenever he calls back. We'll continue to get to the rest of you here in just a moment. If Ohio State wanted to make a run in the NCAA tournament, of course, they're going to have Oral Roberts right off the bat, Kev. They will have Florida or Virginia Tech in the next round, and then they would most likely run into Texas Tech, potentially, Utah State, Arkansas, Colgate. I would put my money on Texas Tech as far as the Sweet 16 matchup. I do like it. Florida just worries me because it's Florida, and it's that, they're traditionally a good basketball school. So as far as that goes, that Florida matchup, I haven't followed Florida all year to give you a true analysis there. I'm not going to pretend, but Florida, you just have to look out for anyways. I mean, when you look at where they're seated right now, they're seated at a 7. They're a pretty good basketball team. So Ohio State, but they've been battle tested. That's the one thing about playing in the Big Ten that I will give Ohio State and Iowa and Michigan State, even, who I have making a very deep run in the tournament. Michigan State is more battle tested than half of these top 5 seeds in the NCAA tournament, which is why I will not count out a Tom Izzo coach team, because I believe that their record truly doesn't indicate who they actually are, just because if you take a lot of these teams and made them face a top 25 opponent every single night, their record would not be as sexy as what it is as well. And that's why I think Michigan State is a team to keep an eye out. But okay, so we'd have Oral Roberts, Florida, Texas Tech. The Elite 8, that's where you could potentially run into Baylor. Purdue is a 4 seed out of that side right there. North Carolina is another sneaky team too, as far as that goes. So that's the one thing to keep in mind when it comes to this side of the bracket. I think that, the one thing that I always laugh at when it comes to Gonzaga, I do believe that the NCAA has a love affair with Gonzaga. They set Gonzaga up every single year to make a run. They want Gonzaga to get it done. And I think honestly, if you're not a Power 5 program or not a Power 5 conference, you definitely want. Shaw said Tom Izzo's out in the first 4, so we could just stop here. I mean, I don't have to talk about Michigan State anymore. We're good to go. But no, the Gonzaga, they give them the easy. I mean, Gonzaga's not going to be tested. Gonzaga, they're a lock to get to the national title. They should be. Oklahoma, Creighton, Ohio. I mean, who's going to step in their way on this side? USC?
Well, the defending champs are there. Virginia's also in their bracket. They also got Iowa from the Big Ten.
Virginia's not last year, 2 years ago.
I'm just saying,
Virginia.
They're still the defending champs.
From 2 years ago.
They're still the defending champs.
That's not saying nothing.
They're the defending champs.
This ain't the NBA where you're returning rosters. Virginia, if they're defending champs, they'd be a 1 seed.
Rona, man. I also got Kansas in that bracket. I mean, we get too bent out of shape about where they land. I mean, they were the number one
matters.
team.
Matters.
They were the number 1 team most of the year, so they deserve the number 1 overall seed. And when you are the number 1 overall seed, you quote unquote get the easier path. I have no problems with that.
I don't think it, but like every year, no matter where they're seated, they get the easy path. They got the easy path 2 years ago or 3 years ago whenever they got to the title game with North Carolina. Nonetheless, you know me, I'm just going to argue everything at this point. So I'm primed and ready to go. But it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, talking NFL free agency, March Madness, of course, coming up here 20 minutes from now. We're going to be joined by Centerville Elks head basketball coach to talk about the Elks' very first ever appearance in the OHSAA Boys State Tournament this weekend at UD Arena. Brook Cups, head coach of the Centerville Elks boys basketball team, going to hang out with us here in just a little bit, 20 minutes. 457-9464. We opened up the show talking NFL, of course, and it upset some people. Bengals fans, though, chimed in. I actually am amazed at some of the Bengals fans that agreed with me that we started talking about the Bears and everyone ripping the Bears and about, not being able to figure out the quarterback situation. And I said that the Bengals are in a situation where they have figured out the quarterback situation and that they're not capitalizing on it. I feel like if the Bears got a Joe Burrow, the Chicago Bears would literally stop everything in their tracks to make sure that they provided him with every weapon that he potentially needed. They wouldn't watch their quarterback go down with a season-ending injury 1 year and then hit free agency with $40+ million in cap space and then sit back and say, you know what we need? We need a cornerback. We need a pass rusher, which, by the way, no offense to the Bengals, they do, because they're not very good. That's why they need a lot of different players. But no, what you need is to protect Joe Burrow, because in 2 years, I have no problem with it. If he tries to play hardball with the Bengals, say, get me the hell out of here. When you ain't going to protect me, I'm the one taking the hits, not you. Zach Taylor's not taking the hits. You're dropping him back 40 times to throw with the no offensive line. Zach Taylor's not taking the hits. Pete Carroll in Seattle's not taking the hits when Russell Wilson gets hit. So I have no problem. I can't wait for when that happens. They need to figure it out. But to the phones we go. We got Charlie. Charlie, welcome. How are you, sir?
Hey, man. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys.
Hey, you as well. Are you out celebrating?
No, I just got off work, and those days are kind of behind me. I like to eat some food, like corned beef and cabbage and stuff like that. I might have a Guinness or two.
There you go.
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and I'm old. I still got to get up.
You're depressing me. You are really depressing me. Okay. I like to live through the callers out having fun, and you're just like,
Well, I got to start taking the day after St. Patrick's Day off is really the ticket.
That's exactly what it is. That's why everyone's always sick on the first Friday of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Well, and in a city like Dayton, you got to take advantage of St. Patrick's Day because it is really special here. But no, you know what? I'm glad for the Bears because now they've got the greatest quarterback in the history of their franchise. It's pretty special. It was Jay Cutler, now it's Andy Dalton. So that's a big deal. Good for Andy. I know everybody hates him. I don't know why. All he does is win football games. So good for Chicago. I hope he goes to the playoffs. And as far as the Bengals go, thank you, Kevin Nash, for Mike Hilton. That dude is he's a stunner. I watched his highlights last night, man. He rocks people. I'm real excited about getting him. And I know everybody's panicked about our line, but they'll get a guy. They'll be all right.
Wow, is this like a call from 3 years ago? I feel like this call gets called in every year. Maybe not necessarily you, but the line of, they'll figure it out. They'll get it 4 years later. Joe Burrow out week 10 for the rest of the season, legs snapped in half because the front office won't get him a damn offensive line. Yeah, they'll be fine. I have all the faith in the world. They'll figure it out.
Well, you know what? I don't know where Duke is doing his work, but Joe Burrow, I'm guessing, just lives at Paul Brown Stadium right now because he goes there every day to work out. Either there or I think he goes. So he's right there in town. And, I mean, that's got to be a lot of pressure on a GM or whatever you call Duke Tobin. But just to not make a call yet on a lineman and know that Joe Burrow's just kind of driving around town trying to fix his knee to get back to playing. And
I see what you're saying. So if you're looking out, so if you're in your office and you look down at the field, there's Joe Burrow working out on the field. That should just be he's not just working out, he's rehabbing, and constantly watching him rehab should just be that little ticker in the brains of these owners and GMs for the Bengals saying, hey, why is he down there rehabbing? Oh yeah, it's because we focused on defense the last couple of years in free agency. Yeah, I mean he deserves better. They got to do better by him, man. They have to, and that's not a Bengal hater saying that. That is just a common sense statement, and even you would have to agree.
Well, it's gotten ridiculous. Okay, so I drive a semi, and I always go through Cincinnati in the morning. I was listening to 96 Rock at 5 a.m. today, and they don't ever talk about sports. Those DJs were talking about Bengals getting offensive linemen from free agency on a rock station at 5 in the morning. It's like,
You know why that's a problem? Mike Brown don't listen to rock music. That's the problem. So he ain't going to catch any of that either. So I have no idea. But you're right. It's on everyone's mind right now. I get it. You can't. But you just talked about the talent they got on defense. But it's like it doesn't. You guys should be happier about it than what Bengals fans are. But you can't be that happy about it because that's not what's going to lose you games, and that's not what's going to keep you from winning Super Bowls in the next 10 years. It's going to be you need the quarterback. You got it, but you got to protect him, and they're not doing it. They refuse to do it.
Yeah, they got to pay at least one guy. They got one guy. Just pay one freaking guy, and then we maybe could, maybe get a decent guy. Even if they went guard center and drafted a tackle, pay somebody. And we have them, even with all the signings we have, they still have like $25 million. That's before they cut Geno Adkins.
They're down to 20 mil.
Money.
They're down to 20 mil. And as far as getting any impact guys on the offensive line, I mean, a lot of those guys have already been taken off, but there's no excuse for why they don't end up with one of those guys when they have the cap space to do it. It's not like they were cash strapped and they couldn't go after the big guys. Every single analyst out there believed the Bengals were going to end up with the Joe Thuney or a Zeitler, or any of the big names out there. And they're going to come out with none of them. That's just.
Well, Thuney and Trent Williams are one thing because those guys just set records. Like, I get it. We don't set records paying linemen. That's whatever. But Kevin Zeitler was $7 million. Like, that's nothing for a guy of that quality.
Thank you. And he had a down year last year. I have to acknowledge that he did not have a great year last year. But you know what?
Better than Bobby Hart?
But to be honest, anything's better than Bobby Hart, and look what you paid Bobby Hart. And you play. Charlie, it was good talking to you, man. Enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day. Take care. Good hearing from you,
man. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you guys.
Adios, man. All right, 457-9464. More of your calls, reaction, NFL free agency, March Madness, all that. We'll be joined by Centerville Elks head basketball coach Brook Cups coming up here top of the hour, 15 minutes from now, as the Centerville Elks have punched their ticket to the state tournament for the first time in school history. That's all coming up around the corner. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers. Next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So many razors. How do you choose? Dollar Shave Club has a premium 6-blade cartridge designed for daily shavers and a 4-blade cartridge that's for less frequent shavers. And they put both blades in one new starter box. So now you can test drive both. If only it was that easy to choose your bracket every March. At least when it comes to razors, they got you. For more info, visit dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. That's dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. And check out DSC at your nearest store. You got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And so we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
Making popcorn for movie night?
Whoa, who are you?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch. Make you buy a new phone.
Right.
But TracFone Wireless lets you keep your phone and your number and your network and gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hi, my name is Brian Summers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland and Summers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Summers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Circulate the air in your home with an attractive new fan from Menards. Check out our wide selection of Hunter ceiling fans. From a traditional look to modern flair, Hunter fans will fit any style in any room of your house. Save 11% on all Hunter ceiling fans. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through March 20th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
So many razors. How do you choose? Dollar Shave Club has a premium 6-blade cartridge designed for daily shavers and a 4-blade cartridge that's for less frequent shavers. And they put both blades in one new starter box. So now you can test drive both. If only it was that easy to choose your bracket every March. At least when it comes to razors, they got you. For more info, visit dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. That's dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. And check out DSC at your nearest store. You got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune into Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
Hi, my name is Brian Summers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland & Summers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland & Summers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Frickers is ready with Frickin' Madness. Frickers' new mobile app allows you to order online and score points for free food and loyalty visits. Frickers is ready for you to catch all the action of the March to the National Championship. Dine in and win with Frickers chicken wings, ice cold beer, and all of the games. Score big by downloading Frickers' new app and receive loyalty points, free food, and order online. Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Right now at Wendy's, with the Biggie Bag, you get a bacon double stack, 4-piece crispy or spicy nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That's a bag with real value. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kenner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Tommy Pennington on Facebook says they offered Tooney, talking about the Bengals, $60 million. The Chiefs offered 80 plus guaranteed cash. I get what they offered. That's $16 million a year. If they offered him 80, you offer him 80. If they offered him $16 million a year, you give him $16 million a year. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what the Bengals were expecting. I don't know why they think they're in a position to expect hometown discounts. And then our guy Shaw says that as soon as they would go out and overpay for a lineman like that, you'd be the first one killing them for overpaying. So they could never win with you. That makes zero sense. For one, $16 million a year for one of the best linemen in football. When you need a lineman, when you have the cap space, Shaw, that's not overspending. And I wouldn't rip them for that. I'm not going to rip them for spending on a position that they need. And if they overspent on an offensive lineman, that shows me that they are very passionate about protecting their damn investment in their quarterback. So no, you're wrong. That would not be me. I would not be doing that. Kev, 457-9464. Who we have? Your mic's off.
There we go. We have
the true American, Steve from Springboro. I haven't heard from you since football season. How are you, my friend?
All right, dude. I'm like Brent Favre. I came out of retirement. I went back to work.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, so you are back at work, huh?
Just part-time.
Okay, I know you couldn't be. I knew they wouldn't keep you down long. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Listen to all that, this Bengals stuff, this Pop Warner team on the river ain't never going to change. So let's talk about something else. Let's don't waste our breath on their ass clown organization. Really? I mean, they're like the team over in Pittsburgh and the team over on the East Coast, too. They're dirty birds. So anyway, I like what they've done so far with the Johnson dude. Because if Delpit comes back healthy, which I'm hoping he will, you got an experienced veteran at safety that will help him. So the safety position on defense will be much improved. That defensive backfield, the back end of that defense is where we're draft defense, street defense, and more defense, man. We got to have that. I think we're one linebacker away. I still like the Wilson kid, Alabama. I think he can be a good linebacker. The kid from the guy from Buffalo, they were looking at him. Is it Melanio or something like that?
Possibly. I don't have that in front of me at the moment, but
yeah, but he would be a good fit, I think.
Well, I mean, and real quick, you look at the second. You got Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Ronnie Harrison, Grant Delpit, and then they just got John Johnson, as you talked about. Their secondary. There's just still too many question marks for me outside of John Johnson. I like Denzel Ward when he's healthy. Greedy Williams and Grant Delpit, healthy, get them back. But I like that the Browns are still being aggressive out in the free agent market and still sniffing around to see if they can get an experienced corner to kind of a guy you can count on, because with how frail and fragile these guys are, it's nice to have some veterans that they could count on and use them in a rotation. So
I'd send Greedy Williams a one-way ticket to the team over in Pennsylvania or anywhere. Get him out of Cleveland. He's too fragile. He can't play. He had the whole season off, and I don't know what his problem was, but come on, man. Rub some dirt on him. Let's play some football. These candy-ass guys anymore are making millions of dollars, and they get a little something hurt, a little this, that, whatever. I mean, really? Come on, man. Yesterday I was listening to you. By the way, I'm working for a courier business, so I listened to you on the radio just because I can't call in because I work different crazy hours. Long story short, I have to disagree with you respectively yesterday about you were talking about Burrow has a higher ceiling. I have to tell you to pump your brakes on that, my friend, a little bit, because I look for Mr. Burrow to have a sophomore slump, and I hope it pisses off the Bengals fans out there because I love doing that. Anyway, I look for him to have a sophomore slump, and he will regress. I think Baker has finally grown up a little bit. He's buying in with Stavnowski. I think everything's going to be good. And let's roll and win the division this year, make the playoffs again. And the team over in Pennsylvania and the Dirty Birds, they're going to be on the bottom of the division looking up. I'll get off here so you guys can get somebody else in. I am going to be going up to the draft in April. I ain't going to miss that. So
we should expect to see you in the background. We expect to hear you barking and screaming in the background. I promise.
You probably will, my friend. Go Browns.
There you go. Steve from Springfield, bringing a little fall to the spring now. How about that? I will say ESPN needs to get in touch with it. He needs to announce one of the Browns picks. I mean, he just has to. There's no reason that should not happen. We have a few more minutes here. We're going to get to Centerville Elks head basketball coach here in a few moments, but let's go back to the phones. Kev, who we have?
We got DoorDash Ray.
DoorDash Ray, welcome, man. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, it's been a minute since I talked to you guys. Hey, I just got one real quick comment, and then I'll let you guys get going. Of course, my Raiders, I don't know what the hell we're doing. I mean, we basically got rid of everybody on the line for some reason. I don't know why we can't keep these guys. We did get John Brown today from Buffalo, the receiver. But you know what? I think it's time for us fans just to realize that, these players apparently don't want to come to Cincinnati or don't want to come to Las Vegas. I mean, these free agents have all the options they can have. And I don't think it's money. I think it's actually they just don't want to play with these teams. I mean, us as fans, we think, we live and die for these Sundays. And, we're diehard. We love it. We bleed it. We eat it. We drink it. But as a player, I'm just beginning to think, of course, I've been a fan for forever, but I really am strongly beginning to think that it doesn't matter what amount of money you're throwing at these guys. There's just certain organizations they just don't want to come to.
Well, no, real quick, I completely get that, and I don't know if it's about organizations. I think in football, your career window is so short that I don't think that they're narrowing it down to I just don't want to play for that organization if they don't have a lot of leverage. What I mean is if they're not looking at it as, oh man, I'm going to go play for the Bengals, I'm going to go play with Joe Burrow, I'm going to go play with this star player, I'm going to go play for this coach. The problem is outside of Joe Burrow, there's really nothing else in Cincinnati that's a draw right now. And there are free agents who are looking at Joe Burrow and saying, man, we can go play alongside Joe Burrow, but we need Joe Burrow to have the protection around him to get the best of Joe Burrow, which is going to put us in the best position to win. So to me, I agree with what you're saying that there's not a whole lot attracting free agents to Cincinnati, but every time we read a report about Joe Thuney or Kevin Zeitler, it's, oh, well, we wanted to play there. We were interested, but they lowballed us. You end up seeing Joe Thuney get $80 million. The Bengals were willing to spend $60 apparently. If you're the Bengals, spend $80. What's wrong with $16 million a year if it gets you one of the best linemen in football and protects your biggest asset? So
totally agree, man. I totally agree. Anyway, you guys have a good day. It's always nice. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you. Appreciate the call. All right, 457-9464. Caffey's off. You can hang up. Who we got next?
We got Reggie.
Reggie, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Watch your mouth this time, Reggie.
Oh, did we have to drop you last time?
I don't know. Hey, I was listening to that previous caller who was talking about Joe Burrow. Hey, I'm in total agreement with him. Hey, man, you are giving him too much of a pity party, man. Hey, you go out there, you play. If you get hurt, you get hurt.
So hold up. So I'm getting criticized for being too friendly to Joe Burrow now?
Yeah.
That's totally fair. That's fair. I'm a big Bengals fan. I get it.
Hey. This is what I got to say about Joe Burrow. Because, I'm a hardcore Browns fan. But this is what I got to say. Hey, it took him 5 years to do in college what most freshmen do the first year. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay.
Baker was doing it from the very beginning in college. You're right. You kind of persuade me now. Maybe I am babying Joe Burrow a little bit.
Burrow, hey. We'll see what happens when he comes back. No excuses. Okay, he got his leg torn up. Hey, those are the breaks. Can you play or can you not play? And that's all I got to say about Joe Burrow. So, hey, don't feel sorry for him, man, because if it had been our quarterback, it would have been the same thing. They would have been ragging us the same way.
All right.
Go Browns, baby.
Go Browns. Good hearing from you, Reggie. Take care. I see the Browns fans coming out, and they didn't like yesterday. See, they Browns fans were listening yesterday. They didn't have a whole lot of complaints, but yesterday I came out and I said that I think that the ceiling for Joe Burrow is higher than the ceiling for Baker Mayfield, and I still believe that. I believe that Joe Burrow has the potential to be a better NFL quarterback than Baker Mayfield, mainly because with Baker Mayfield, things have had to go absolutely perfect for his numbers to be what they are. And when things are not perfect, Baker Mayfield's numbers plummet. Things are not perfect in Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow's numbers are through the roof. I mean, he was on pace to battle it out with Justin Herbert from Oregon that played with the Chargers. He was on pace to battle it out with Herbert week in and week out to the very last week of the season to break the rookie records. One of them, I mean, Baker Mayfield broke Peyton Manning's touchdown record. Justin Herbert just broke Baker Mayfield's record. I don't think Burrow would have broken that because he was really struggling, leading on scoring drives. But as far as moving the ball up and down the field, throwing for 300 plus yards a game, that was all Joey B. Joey B's numbers were through the roof without an offensive line, without playing on a very dominant offense. So imagine what happens when you do protect him. I mean, if he's throwing for 300 yards a game or running for his life, imagine when he has time to throw. Imagine when you get him a complete set of good wide receivers. I like the weapons he has, but imagine when you get him a legit tight end. Imagine when you get him another running back to complement Joe Mixon. Imagine how good he would be at that point. So, yes, I do believe that the ceiling is higher for Joe Burrow than Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, Browns fans. I've been pro-Browns for years now, and I still am. I'm not pro-Bengals here. I'm pro-Joe Burrow, and I want to see Joe Burrow get some protection, man. And right now, it's like a Trojan with a hole in it, man. He has no protection at all.
Wow.
Too far?
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see if we get that good old fine.
But the seven, you can't fine me for that.
We'll see.
I mean, it is 2021. People get upset real easily now, so I get it, but nonetheless. All right, folks, we'll step away for a few moments. We'll be back on the other side of the break. We're going to talk a little high school basketball. The Centerville Elks are in the state tournament for the first time in their school history, and we're going to be joined by Brook Cups, the head coach of the Centerville Elks boys basketball team. He joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks Online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the Gumball Machine. You think it's me? I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting. We are excited to announce we are open and here to help with your tax preparation needs. We offer multiple options, both convenient and safe. You can drop off your tax return, upload it to our secure website, or call for an appointment. We have 5 locations in the Miami Valley and 1 in Columbus to serve you. No matter the situation, we're confident we can do the job right. Visit Laird'sTax.com or call 937-325-6571. Laird's Tax and Accounting, here for you to ensure continued confidence in your tax return.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris, Ohio has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefits package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at just over $17 per hour with annual increases. During the month of March, KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews every day from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. For a limited time, get 0% financing on the 21 Honda Passport, Honda CRV, Honda HRV, and the 21 Pilot. Plus, get $0 due at lease signing on the 2020 CRV, Civic Sedan, and HRV for well-qualified buyers. See me, sales manager Jason High, for complete details. We're on Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Need to add a few employees? Take the fast lane to hiring with Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The madness is officially here. It's the Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and Frickers. $100 in Frickers bucks to the overall winner. Plus, you could win $1 million by filling out the perfect bracket. Submit your Basketball Mayhem tournament bracket at wingam.com. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Kirkland and Summers. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm excited for this weekend. For one, yes, March Madness officially tips off, but it's also the OHSAA Boys Basketball Final Four, the state tournament for Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm excited to bring on our next guest. He's the head basketball coach for the Centerville Elks. We have Brook Cups with us here. The Centerville Elks going to the state tournament for the first time ever after winning their first ever regional championship this past weekend. Coach Cups, welcome in, sir. We appreciate your time. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, first ever regional championship. I know that we'll talk about what's ahead for the state tournament, but let's talk about this tournament run right now. You guys cap it off with your first ever regional championship. Just what has this season been like, especially considering everything that's going on around the world with the global pandemic?
Yeah, it's been a little bit wild. We've been shut down twice, so we've had 2 weeks shut down, two weeks shutdowns kind of mixed in there. Really, I mean, our group of guys they've played really well over the second half of the year and kind of come together and, playing at a pretty high level. Our tournament run was tough. I mean, if you come out of Southwest Ohio in Division I, you're playing some people now, like some good teams. So, we had Mason in the districts, and then we had Elder. We ran the GCL gauntlet. We were in the regionals with Elder, Moeller, and St. X, and we knocked off Elder, and Moeller beat St. X in overtime, and then we were fortunate enough to get Moeller last Saturday. So it's been a good run. Our guys are doing a really good job.
Coach, I know you know this. Everybody loves offense. Everybody loves to see the 3 balls and everything like that, but your team plays lockdown defense. Talk about some of the guys that are helping you guys lock things down defensively.
Yeah, it's a good thing because we didn't shoot the ball very well down at Princeton, so it's a good thing we're guarding people. We have a group that's willing to guard. I think that's the biggest thing. Our best defender is probably Emmanuel Dang, a sophomore that starts for us, real long, athletic kid that that's his role on our team, and he's done a great job of embracing that against some really good players over the last few weeks. We're going to need more of the same coming into this weekend, but I mean, I think it's just really an overall appreciation and value of that end of the floor with the guys that we have right now. They see the importance of it and how it keeps you in games when you're not shooting it well, and it's a separator when you do start knocking down some shots and you're still guarding. So we try to make sure we're always playing, downhill, not uphill. We're always going to guard, and then if shots go in, that's great. And you can't play it the other way around, you're in trouble.
Is that where the phrase chop wood comes from, that hard-nosed defense you guys play?
So chop wood is really just the mentality we try to approach everything with. It definitely applies defensively, but it applies to some other things too. I mean, defensively, it's just possession after possession after possession. You got to guard and you got to sit down and defend. And everything else is just like, it's a mentality that, like, if things go well, you gotta come back the next day. If things don't go well, you gotta come back the next day. Just that mentality of persistence and staying with it, regardless of what the previous play was, the previous day was. Just being disciplined enough to stay consistent with your efforts.
Coach, I know every coach has a lot of confidence in their team, but let's rewind back to the start of the season coming in. Take just the pandemic issues out. How special of a team did you know you had coming into this year? Again, you always have a traditionally good team, but did you realize you had this special of a team, to have a chance to get to the state tournament?
No. I mean, I think what I knew we had is we had guys that were really invested in the game and whether they were going to be invested in each other and be accepting of the roles we were asking them to fill, I didn't know. I think that's the wild card, and that's always been the thing that kind of gives us an advantage is we get we've had guys willing to embrace roles that are rebound, defend, screen, things that aren't so glamorous. That was the question. I think that's the question every year. We knew we had some guys that could play, and we knew we had some guys that were really invested, but how willing were we to be unselfish and serve each other and make sacrifices for the good of the group? I don't think we knew that till about halfway through the year.
Coach, we all know that you have a special relationship with all your guys, but I think you have an even more special relationship with one of your players. How's it been coaching your son?
It's been different. He would say sometimes it's not so special, but I think it's been good. It took me a little while, honestly, for me to adjust to it because I would try to coach him, like at the beginning of the year, especially. I tried to coach him like he was my son. Like I was on him nonstop about stuff. And when I tried to step back a little bit and, make sure I had conversation if I wasn't happy with him in practice, I would have that conversation right after practice instead of having it on the way home or at home, and just tried to approach it from that standpoint. Like he's another player. Now, I don't think there's really ever getting away from the standards and the expectations that I have for him because I've obviously been with him in workouts and practice for his whole life. So there's an expectation that he has and I have that makes it a little bit different. But he's done a really good job of handling it, and he's done a good job of kind of fulfilling his role that we've asked him to play on the team too.
Yeah, I know this is special, obviously, for yourself and your team, but also the entire school, the student body as well as the teachers.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you're in the Final Four. It's, I think the thing we're trying to stress right now is, and our guys have a good feel for it, is like, well, this isn't really what we're trying to do. Like, we're trying to go win. Like, we never talk about league championships or district championships or really even state championships. We just talk about like being our best. Like, how good can our group be? How can we continue getting better and be at our best at the end of the year? And I think this group feels like they're still getting better and they're still hungry to improve. And so, the fight is that complacency, which I think the guys in our team, like our guys, they've got a great feel for it. I think there's some people around that are just like, we're in the Final Four. It's like, we still got work to do. So
that's why when I said congratulations to this point of the season, because I know when you say congratulations, it sounds like an end cap to a season, and you guys aren't done yet, obviously. Right now we have Centerville head basketball coach Brook with us here. The Centerville Elks win their first ever regional championship, and now they head on to the state tournament this weekend. Saturday, 5 o'clock, the Elks will take on Menor in their very first state semifinal matchup. Coach, I'll send you out with this. I know when it comes to the state tournament, I don't think you guys care where you play. You played in a barn outside in 20-degree weather. Well, maybe not, but the point is how we keep talking about all these things that make this run so special, but how special is it that here in the city of Dayton, you guys get to just travel just about 15 minutes away to play in your first ever state tournament at UD Arena?
Yeah, it's awesome. The only thing I wish is it could be open and we could get all our fans that are trying to get tickets. But I think UD it's an incredible place to play. It's a great players venue. With the seats closed and the shot's hard to play in. It's with everything stretched out. So I just think the environment of UD is special, and obviously for our kids being so familiar with it, it'll be a neat opportunity, and we're just looking for the opportunity to go compete and see what happens.
Coach, you guys have Menor coming up Saturday, 5 o'clock. What's the film on them right now showing you? Obviously it's a tough task. They're undefeated, but throw records out. I don't think that matters. You're going to run into a tough opponent no matter what, especially at this level or this point of the tournament. What's the film showing on Menor as you guys prepare for them on Saturday?
They're a great team. They're 25-0. They finished the season ranked number 1 in the state. They've got 3 really dynamic guards that are able to kind of create. They do a lot of isolation stuff where they let those guys play in space, shoot the 3 really well. Tough, hard-nosed team, really well coached. It's exactly what you expect at this point in the season. Like, you've got to play well, and that's the way we're approaching it. They got to play well too. That's the way it works when you're to this point. So, we're trying to get ready. I think our guys will be locked in and ready to go, and we'll give it our best shot.
All right, the Centerville Elks in their very first ever state tournament in boys basketball coming up this weekend. Coach Brook, good enough to join us and hang out with us here this afternoon on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers. Coach, thank you so much for taking time and hanging out with us. Best of luck this weekend, and enjoy the rest of the week leading up to it.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 70. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a low around 52. And tomorrow's going to be cloudy with rain, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
There's only one thing to say about America's biggest night of television. It's insane. Ever. First, the Masked Singer panel was speechless at last week's reveal. As 5 new singers stormed the stage, that's just the beginning of the surprises. Amazing! Then, can you guess someone's talent?
Fire thrower! Bone breaker!
Before they perform.
Show us your talent!
Wayne Brady hosts the new hit Game of Talents after the Masked Singer. Fox tonight.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring owner-operator and fleet owners. Dedicated home daily round-trip lanes. That's right, round-trip, get paid for all miles, 100% no-touch freight. Cordell is offering great pay, a discounted fuel program, and free on-site truck parking, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus per truck. Take advantage of the dedicated round-trip miles, sign-on bonus, and home every day or every other day. Go online to CordellTransportation.com to apply today. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Folks, you show it, we'll feed it. Quality show feeds from Lowe's, Umbarger, Hunter at a great price, along with Sullivan Show products right here at Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton Lakeview Road. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
I'm giving Jeb's basement renovations 1 star. He kept asking me what's behind the walls down there. I'm like, why? What do you know?
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
And then he's like, you can trust me with the job. And I'm all like, trust?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Yeah, he charged me less than he said he would, which is lying.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
The energy in Skyline is one of a kind, and I love that. When a smiling face is greeting you and they want to give you a great experience, they want to make you feel like you're part of their family. Skyline does a wonderful job of that. When you think of Skyline Chili, you think of like being with your friends and your family. It's just a whole experience when we go to Skyline. We love the friendliness, just being together, that family unit. We were happy, so happy to be at Skyline.
Howard Music, one of the largest music stores in the nation, is having March Musical Madness. Yes, Howard's is slashing prices to the rock bottom. Nothing held back in their superstore in Centerville. Nowhere else will you find a larger selection of band instruments, drums, guitars, digital pianos, and musical accessories all under one roof. Sign your student up for lessons in our state-of-the-art teaching rooms. Nowhere else will the prices be lower than Howard's March Musical Madness. Look for the huge Howard sign at 528 Miamisburg Centerville Road. Howard's March Musical Madness is going on now.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
You could continuously cough for hours on end, or you could take Delsym Cough. Delsym Cough gives you 12 cough relief hours. Visit Delsym, DELSYM.com. Use as directed.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Appreciate Brook Cups coming on, head coach of the Centerville Elks, and just kind of giving us a preview or a recap of the season up to this point. Again, the Centerville Elks have advanced to the state semifinals for the first time in school history. So looking forward to that on Saturday. They have the number one team in Division I in Menor. And look, it's not like the first time they've ever gotten to they've had some good teams. It's a very difficult regional to get out of. You run into all of the Catholic schools that, again, just kind of, basically just build super teams left and right. And when you're I'm not, recruiting happens in high school at a lot of different schools, but not at the level it does at some of the private schools, which is why the ongoing debate of, do private schools need to be in its own, separate division when it comes, or not really division, but just, not be intermingled with everybody else. It's a interesting discussion every year to have, but let's not act like the regular schools aren't out building super teams as well. Braxton Miller. Yeah, I'm just saying. It is what it is. Okay. 457-9464. But again, good luck to the Elks this weekend. Definitely pulling for them. CJ, they're going to be in action this weekend as well. So the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers, right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We got Reds spring training action coming up later on tonight, 9:00 late. Reds baseball spring training action again. We've had it easy this week. They've only knocked off one of our games. In fact, we'll be off on Friday though, because Ohio State's going to be tipping off in the NCAA tournament for March Madness. We're excited to officially get that underway. But let's go to the phones. We got Clifford waiting on us. Clifford, how are you, man? Thanks for being patient.
Thank you. Centerville Elks. One fond memory I have of the Centerville Elks is that when Dayton Dunbar played them in football, Herb Streak, ESPN affiliate, Herb Streak was the number one quarterback in the state. And I'm thinking that they was the number one team in the state too. And Dunbar came and beat them at the last second with a run back. A guy named Ricky Smith ran the ball all the way back, and it was just history from there. It was like the greatest win that Dunbar ever had, because Herb Streak was like number one in the state. The team was number one in the state. That's probably the best football team they ever had. I don't know if Jeff Graham plays for that team. I think Jeff Graham was a little bit older than Herb Streak, so I don't know about that, but that was like one of the greatest wins. That's the one fond memory I have of Centerville. But I would like to ask Herb Streak is that in the back of his mind, that high school game that he lost in the state, playoffs. I just like to ask him that. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I mean, I don't even know where to go with that. But do you think back to the talent that's, just what we have here locally, not just now, but in the past? It's unbelievable, for one. And obviously, I wasn't at that game. I don't even know if you were even at that game.
No, I wasn't.
Nonetheless, but I mean, you hear about these instant classics from back in the day, and when you hear about some of the big names involved in some of those, whether it's football or basketball, definitely a rich history of super talent that's come out of this area, and some of those legendary games like the one that Cliff just alluded to. Cliff, thanks for the call. But some more reaction to NFL free agency. So how about this one? Inside linebacker Denzel Perryman signing with the Panthers. But that's not the one. This is the one that caught my attention. This is more of a trade. The Raiders are trading center Rodney Hudson. Remember, there's talk of them releasing him.
That's what I thought they released him.
But I guess they're trading him. They're sending him and a 7th-round pick to Arizona for a 3rd-round pick. So Arizona has added J.J. Watt. They've added A.J. Green. They've added, who am I missing? Obviously Hudson right here. But, man, it's nice when you have a team with a quarterback that they value and they want to protect and make sure that he stands upright. But good for the Cardinals, man. They've been very aggressive, making, whether it's through trades, free agency, what have you. The AJ Green thing, going back and pairing up, of course, with Fitzgerald. He's always been, really obsessed with it, trying to live up to his, career that he had. I think AJ Green had a fantastic career with the Bengals. It's just, with AJ Green for the Bengals and Joey Votto for the Reds, what those two are running into is, and to be honest, AJ Green experienced more playoff success with the Bengals, at least of getting there, than Joey Votto has with the Reds, is there have been great athletes and players in Cincinnati over the last 10 years, but we're never going to, I think we're never going to hold them up the way that we do a lot of former great Bengals and a lot of former great Reds, just mainly because of the fact of the lack of team success that they've had. So it's like AJ Green going away today. I'm seeing a lot of emotional reaction on social media, and it's fascinating to me because it's like, I feel like AJ Green just left the Bengals today, but I feel like it's been 3 years since the Bengals have had an actual AJ Green.
Right.
AJ Green hasn't been himself for years. I think the last time was when they started out 8-0 years ago or whatever it was. I mean, to me, it's just one of those where I feel like AJ Green's been gone for a while. You had the incident where he got hurt at Welcome Stadium, and then of course, everyone was ripping Welcome Stadium because AJ Green got hurt. I mean, he sneezed. I mean, there's nothing else you can do if you get hurt by sneezing. But no, so his career with the Bengals officially over. He's with the Cardinals now with Kyler Murray. I think, the Cardinals, though, they've added a lot of pieces. I just don't think it's moved them up as far as the division that they play in. I'm still not taking the Cardinals over the Rams, the Niners, or Seattle at this point.
A lot of veteran players on offense is what they're really doing. All their young talent is on defense. And then obviously they added J.J. Watt to that defense, but their defense is super young. So what they're doing in verse is getting a lot of veteran talent. Obviously they still looking to re-sign Larry Fitzgerald. And that would be on paper and on name recognition, like it's crazy to have a Larry Fitzgerald, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, and obviously DeAndre Hopkins. But, if you're out there with those guys, those guys are veterans. And what I'm saying? You have Larry Fitzgerald basically playing a slot receiver now. He's not that burner that he used to be on the outside. So he's going to get you those tough yards. That's the biggest question mark for AJ Green. Can he adapt his game like Larry Fitzgerald did? Larry Fitzgerald was able to adapt his game. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to change up his game now that he's with the Cardinals, because he's not going to be the number one. Obviously, he's not the number two. So can he work that third/fourth receiver role for the Cardinals?
More news out of the NFL. The Indianapolis Colts are bringing back running back Marlon Mack. Mack's been a solid running back for them for years. And of course they go and they get the running back from Wisconsin and Jonathan Taylor last year. And by the way, they got Marlon Mack back for a $2 million deal. So that's kind of where we're at with this. And look, I always feel like teams, especially like the Colts, who you had a very good running back in Marlon Mack, giving you 1,000 yards a season. When they drafted Jonathan Taylor, I was like, well, they're not going to bring Marlon Mack back. Basically you're having these teams who, when you have a solid running back, you're not going to extend them. You're drafting their replacement. And then it's like, it looks good at first because you had Mack and Jonathan Taylor. Mack goes down injured with the Achilles, and then it's Jonathan Taylor's opportunity. But you're going to get to see these two play together moving forward. But I don't think that, had he not got injured and had those big numbers still, he's probably getting paid more. But good for the Colts. Again, just more experience. They have more explosiveness at a lot of positions. They are Carson Wentz figuring it out away from being a Super Bowl contender, to be honest with you. That's
Carson Wentz can't figure it out now with the best offensive line in football. Coach he played his best football under, I don't know what else. I mean, he's set up perfectly to succeed. They're set up to make a run. And, winning the Super Bowl is very difficult. Like, I know Tom Brady makes it look easy, but, winning Super Bowls is difficult. If they don't make a run, at least to the AFC Championship, then it's a disappointing season for the Colts, in my opinion.
This just came in. Interesting question here, and I'm curious people's thoughts. We're going to open up the phone lines at 457-9464. We're going to talk a little Bengals, but don't worry, this isn't a bashing the Bengals segment. This one comes from Eric Pugh. He goes, who do you want in their prime, Chad Ochocinco or AJ Green? We've seen, again, very similar receivers in the fact that they were big-time superstar wide receivers for Cincinnati, played on good teams, never played on great teams, never had a chance to be a part of, a deep playoff run or a team that you could at least remember them by. There's not a set team that you remember AJ Green by, or the year that you remember him by. Very good one of the all-time greats in Cincinnati. So same thing with Ochocinco. Both in their prime, you can only pick one. Who you picking?
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to go with AJ Green. I'm gonna go with AJ Green. I just think that AJ Green was more explosive down the field, and less chatter. It was more about what he was doing on the field. So I'll go with AJ Green, considering Antonio Brown was a malcontent on my Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll go with the more quiet guy.
I'm going with Chad Johnson over AJ Green. Now, again, both you can't go wrong with either one. But what I liked about Chad Johnson was that he kind of gave the Bengals a little bit of an identity. I like that. Enough. I think that teams need guys like that.
Fair enough. You know what? I changed my mind. You're right.
Because AJ Green, here's why he will always be when you're talking about both of them, AJ Green and Chad Ochocinco. Ochocinco's always going to get the nod because you remember him more. 20 years from now, our guys our age that watched AJ Green, we're going to remember him, but we're going to know Ochocinco. Like Ochocinco's still going to be, I think, as close to a household name as you can. AJ Green, you'll remember who he is. I just don't think that he is going to be an all-time fan favorite by the time. Ochocinco will always go down as one of the all-time Bengals favorites. But when we're talking about skill, though, you can't go wrong with either. You're right, though. Right. AJ Green, very explosive. But
explosive.
I looked at Chad Ochocinco kind of not. He wasn't better than Terrell Owens, but he had a Terrell Owens quality of he had the look at me factor, but he definitely had the charisma, but he had the big playmaking ability as well. You remember him for a lot of big plays and big moments. Where AJ Green was just a steady dose of the number one wide receiver. You can count on him until late in his career, of course. I'm picking Ochocinco over AJ Green, but both are great receivers. There's no that's no disrespect to AJ Green at all.
AJ Green had a great 5-year spurt that was crazy, and him not being that braggadocious receiver, you're right, like people aren't going to remember that, but they'll look at the numbers. It's like, whoa, man, he put up some crazy numbers, but you don't remember that. But when Chad was there with the Cincinnati Bengals before they actually started winning games, he was still putting on performances, and those antics that he did in the end zone after scoring touchdowns, you remember those. So I just remember that one playoff game that they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers when Carson Palmer got hurt. Like, the Bengals were up, and they were up because of Carson Palmer and that passing attack. And the main weapon in that passing attack was Chad Johnson. So, Chad Johnson, his legacy on the Cincinnati Bengals is pretty outstanding, man.
And look, we're at 9 years of AJ Green, right? 2011 is rookie season. And I think you have to hold it against AJ Green too that he couldn't stay healthy. You look at Chad Johnson. I mean, he was productive. He 11,000 yards in his career compared to 9 for AJ Green. Now you could sit there and say, okay, well, if you look at the 11,000 yards, well, that's a career. But with the Bengals, 10,000 yards for Chad Johnson. Again, just more of a playmaker. I'm picking Chad Johnson over AJ Green. I just think it's really close. But I'm curious. 457-9464 Bengals fans, I want to hear from you. It's one of the rare times you could tune into this show when we're not ripping the team. We're actually having a little fun. AJ Green or Ochocinco. Eric Pugh, thank you for the question, because I think it's a good one, a good discussion to have. But it's, again, another Bengals great wide receiver that really was never really a part of anything super special. 5 straight playoffs, by the way, that's tough to do. There's good teams, really, really good teams who are no stranger to the playoffs that find it difficult to make the playoffs 5 straight years. And the Bengals were able to do that, but just not being able to, kind of get that win. That's what they're more known for that than anything else. They're not known for making the playoffs. They're known for the team that could never win in the playoffs. And sometimes that could be worse than being known as the team that can't get there for whatever reason. But here's a counter to this, Kev. If you look at Ochocinco's numbers with the Bengals, he played 10 years with the Bengals compared to 9 for AJ Green, and 10,700 yards for Ochocinco in 10 years. And you look at the 9 years for AJ Green, who had 9,400 yards. He was non-existent for 3 of those 9 years, though. So if AJ Green stays healthy, his number, I mean, he's probably blowing Ochocinco out of the water, but Ochocinco just seemed more consistent from beginning to end. So that's a good counter argument to have as far as that goes. Vince Waller on Facebook says AJ Green over Chad Johnson. Chad had a better quarterback and a running mate in TJ Houshmandzadeh. Green made Andy Dalton seem a lot better than what he actually was.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I don't think receivers make quarterbacks look better than what they are. You depend on the quarterback. Now, I agree with Vince. The quarterback that Ochocinco played with was better than the one that AJ Green did, but I still think a lot of disrespect towards Andy Dalton. He wasn't great, but I don't think he was as bad as what we say. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's good. He was good. Cool. Be cool.
Schrody says, man, I'm getting old. I feel like it was just yesterday the Bengals drafted AJ Green, and now he's probably going to be out of the league in like 3 years. at this point. I mean, look, I think he can. The reason I think he'll be better with the Cardinals is because he's not going to go there trying to be like AJ Green's problem in Cincinnati the last 3 years when he was on the field was that he was trying to be the AJ Green of old, because it's AJ Green. You make the money that he made. He's being looked at to be the number one wide receiver. He's not being looked at to be the number one wide receiver in Arizona, and I think you're going to see him be more productive with Arizona, not more so than his time in Cincinnati. I just think you're still going to get good quality years out of AJ Green if he could stay healthy coming up. But I think that's because his role, he's going to know his role is going to be different, and there's not as much pressure on him there as what there was here. Because when he was on the field, you expected him to be AJ Green.
Right.
AJ Green had good quality games last year for a number 2 or a number 3. But we always looked at it as he was a horrible wide receiver for the Bengals last year because he wasn't putting up the number 1 wide receiver numbers. And I think that's fair big picture. Nick says, imagine if AJ Green had the human jugs machine and Carson Palmer. Yeah. I mean, look, Ochocinco, but I mean, so Nick, do you think Ochocinco would not be as good as what he was if he had Andy Dalton at quarterback? If you swap both out, are we still saying the same thing? I mean, would Ochocinco have the same numbers with Andy Dalton that he did with obviously Palmer? I don't know. We'll be back in a moment. Let's open up he says that's a fact. There you go. Bengals fans, 457-9464. AJ Green, no longer a Bengal, officially signs with the Cardinals. So his career with the Cincinnati Bengals has come to an end. And we had a question come in from Eric just a little bit ago live here on Facebook. He wanted to know, Chad Ochocinco or AJ Green in their prime, who are we going to take? So I'm curious your comments, your opinions on that. Who would you take between the two if both are in their prime? We'll take your calls at 457-9464 when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks Online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me? I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is the registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up a non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen temporal scanner purchased at any retailer. Fever is a leading symptom of COVID, and using an accurate thermometer has never been more critical. In published studies, no-touch thermometers miss more fevers than they detect. While the new COVID vaccines are becoming more widely available, it is important to make sure you are protected. Monitor for fever with an accurate thermometer backed by more than 80 published peer-reviewed clinical studies. Details at Exergen.com, where accuracy matters.
Making popcorn for movie night?
Whoa, who are you?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch, make you buy a new phone.
Right.
But TracFone Wireless lets you keep your phone and your number and your network, and gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor.
Half man, half motorcycle.
If you missed a turn, there's always another turn. Take it to get back to the turn you missed.
Use your turn signal.
Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, my name is Brian Summers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland & Summers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland & Summers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need a dependable body shop, we're here to help, repairing all makes and models. Our technicians have over 125 years experience. That means we can repair your vehicle quickly and efficiently. Our department is state-of-the-art with new equipment to get you back on the road quickly. We offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 Mack Oil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
The journey on the path to spiritual enlightenment is personal, and as you'll hear on the Astray podcast, it can also be deadly. Join filmmaker Caroline Slaughter on the podcast as she uncovers the disappearances and deaths that have befallen Westerners who have taken a spiritual pilgrimage to India.
A lot of people that'll hear this podcast will be seekers. Don't go to India. This is a Venus flytrap for your vulnerability.
Listen to Astray wherever you get your podcasts.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Hi, everybody. We welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Make sure you celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the Greenway at Skyline Chili. The same three-way you love, dressed up with green noodles. Wednesday, March 17th today, of course, only at participating Skyline locations, but there you go. So make sure you go and the green noodles. Everyone has to make everything green. The green beer, your mic's off. The green beer, the green noodles. So obviously Skyline didn't have beer, but get yourself a green beer, and then, you know what? There's nothing better than that when your stomach's going to be, very upset the next day, but that's fine. It's one of those things that's worth it. It's one of those things. So again, celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a Greenway at Skyline Chili. It's the same three-way you love, dressed up with green noodles. Only available at participating Skyline locations, again, in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. So make sure you get out there. In fact, we got some gift cards we're going to be giving away here at the top of the hour. I'll tell you how. Make sure you keep it locked in here at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So I said 4 because the damn clock in the studio still, we have not changed it yet. The time changed this past weekend. So every time earlier, I think I promoted something coming up at the wrong time because I'm looking up at the wrong time, but I'm too short to reach the clock. The clock is way up at the top there and I can't reach it. So when I'm doing the show on Facebook and I look up and look at the time and people see me I'm looking at the clock and the clock is off. But so no, coming up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock last week, I'll tell you how you could win a Skyline Chili gift card. So you can, of course, go out and get yourself some Skyline. So there you go. In fact, I just had that for lunch 2 days ago and going there tonight for dinner. So there's
how many oyster crackers you eat?
I told you got to get the oyster crackers with the Frank's Red Hot or whatever it is, whatever hot sauce they have there. That's what you got to do. More reaction again to the question we threw out there about AJ Green or Chad Ochocinco. The one thing, okay, I did say Chad Johnson, and I'm back and forth on this because I look at AJ Green and I'm like, AJ Green, I know has played for 9 years, but he's only played for 6, guys. Like, let's be real, Bengals fans. He played for 6 years. He played for 6 of the 9 years actually out on the field. He wasn't AJ Green last year. He was out the year before and hurt the year before that. Like that wasn't AJ Green. I do have to hold it against him that, he was injured and all that, and I do. But then when you look at the numbers, the fact that if we're going to talk Chad Ochocinco against AJ Green career-wise with the Bengals, Chad Johnson's numbers and AJ Green's numbers are the exact same, and Chad Johnson played 10 years, and technically AJ Green's only played 6. Like that's kind of where I'm at with this. I said Ochocinco. I'm not changing my mind because I still would pick Chad over AJ in their prime. But damn, AJ was really good for the Bengals. It is time stuck in the middle on that. But when you look at that, I mean, Kev again, he caught for 9,400 yards, 65 touchdowns. When you look at what Chad Johnson did with the Bengals, 10,000 yards for 67 touchdowns.
But AJ Green didn't kick field goals.
Huh?
Remember when Chad was kicking extra points in the preseason?
That's the preseason.
With the goal
That's the preseason.
The match's grill.
And look, I was 649 total receptions for AJ Green compared to 766. So again, 100 more receptions for Chad Johnson to get to only 1,000 yards more than AJ Green and 100 less catches in 3 less years. I keep saying 3 less years for those of you who are just catching that, by the way, because of the fact that AJ Green really has not been himself the last 3 years. I mean, he played a lot last year. In fact, if you look at his numbers last year, his last season with the Bengals, he played in 16 games. He stayed relatively healthy, but he had 47 receptions for 523 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not, so for AJ Green to still be in the same ballpark total stats-wise as Chad Johnson, when you look at the fact, that wasn't an AJ Green year. He stayed healthy, but that wasn't an AJ Green year. Kev, who we got?
We got Nick.
Nick, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, man. I'm a Bengals fan, and this conversation kind of tears me right in half. Because I was there for both of those eras, and as a Bengals fan, I can absolutely respect what AJ brought to the team, which is the first down, you get the ball to the referee, you go back. It's the quiet dominance. You know what I mean? Where Chad was obviously loud, in your face, mile a minute with his mouth, getting in people's heads, talking smack, doing dumb things it was entertainment. So it was entertaining to watch Chad. I would tune in every week just to see what he was going to do. AJ Green, it was one of those things where he would do something amazing and just walk away. And you can almost respect that a little bit more. But when you talk about the numbers, the years that Chad played versus the years AJ played and their stats in between, part of it to me is you got to look at who Chad was going up against. He's going up against Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, every year. Those guys that just aren't around anymore. It was to kind of go back a little bit to the LBJ and Michael conversation. It is a little bit of a different era now than it was then. And I wonder how much of that contributed to the difference in numbers over longevity between those two guys.
No, you bring up a lot of really good. You know what? It's funny when you talk about, and this is why Kevin and I earlier were talking about how close both of them are when at least from a numbers perspective. But the big separation between the two, which led me to go with Chad Johnson, was just because of his personality. For instance, personality can take you a long way. For instance, Ickey Woods, and I hate when people put him in that one-hit wonder category and all that, but like Ickey Woods is one of the most memorable Bengals of all time. But with all due respect to Ickey, it's not like he was one of the best of all time, right? But why do we remember Ickey? The Ickey shuffle, the personality. He has a personality that when he comes in the room, he feels that he's been in this studio multiple times. He's an awesome, amazing dude, but he has a persona about him that just kind of, you remember him. Chad Johnson, same thing. He was great and had the personality. AJ Green was drier than wood, and I'm telling you, it is what it is. So I definitely get what you're saying there, where touchdown, first down, hand the ball to the ref and move on. But Chad Johnson had a full performance to put on after every catch or touchdown.
In that context, Justin, I actually would argue that Chad could potentially be better, because I feel like a portion of Chad's life was football. And that's why we got what we got out of Chad, the personality.
Yep.
I feel like 110% of AJ Green's life is football. He's giving everything that he's got to the sport, and he's equaling Chad Johnson. It's just a portion of Chad.
Well, let me ask you, with AJ Green's numbers being as good as they are playing with Andy Dalton, what do you say to that? I mean, that's pretty. His numbers are pretty damn impressive considering his quarterback was Andy Dalton, who I still think is not underrated to the point where I think he's a great, but I don't think he's as bad as what people say. I think a bad quarterback is not allowing AJ. You're not getting numbers if you play with a bad quarterback. You're just not.
Well, I would also look at AJ's numbers before and after Andrew Whitworth left, because I think that you'll see a drastic decrease in numbers after Andrew Whitworth left the offensive line.
Yeah.
Not even after, with Dalton and everything else, because just like AJ was Dalton's right-hand man, Chad was Carson's. So, to me, the things I see out of Chad I don't see out of AJ outside of style is those tiptoe sideline grabs where he's 45 degrees hanging out of bounds. I don't see that out of anybody as consistently as we saw that out of Chad. And I think that was something that Carson and Chad had in their back pocket that no other duos ever had. Is, hey, man, I'm just going to chuck this out of bounds, bro. And it's like, all right, I'll get it. And they did it routinely.
Yeah, if you're going to make a comparison at wide receiver, for me, AJ Green is Fitzgerald. Like, they're the same personality. They're the same. They have the same killer instinct. They have the same skill set. They are just dominant wide receivers. But that dry personality, that they're not going to show you up. They're not cocky. They're not arrogant. And I'm not even saying that that's a good or a bad thing. And I don't think being cocky or arrogant is a bad thing either, as long as it's channeled correctly.
If you can back it up, it's freaking amazing. It's amazing. I go back and I watch the footage of Chad just talking smack. And it is hilarious. I showed it to my girlfriend. She's like, he actually played football. I'm like, yes. Like, this is the dude who used to play football. This is how it used to be. But I'll say one last thing before I go.
Yep.
Another thing I think contributes to that is, in my opinion, in the Carson Palmer era, he had more utilizable weapons than we have now. There was Hushmanzada over the middle. You had Gresham in there. We have a lot more rookies now. We have a lot more no-names, where I feel like the team as a whole relies on AJ way more than we ever relied on Chad. It was more like, hey, Chad's open, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, because Tyler Boyd started coming onto the scene as AJ Green was declining, and then that's when they started looking at Tyler Boyd as, I don't look at him as a number one wide receiver, but he was forced to be the number one wide receiver in AJ's absence, and that was that's why he got paid. I mean, if there was anyone on the team happy about AJ Green's injury, it was Tyler Boyd, because Boyd got to be the guy, and that's how he got in position to get the contract he did. So, no, that's a good point as well. So,
thanks, guys.
Hey, take care. I appreciate the call. Good points.
Yep.
But yeah, like for Chad Johnson, it's all about just being known. I mean, we know who AJ Green is. Right. You know my point. Like, I do think the personality takes you a long way. You're always going to be remembered for your personality on and off. I mean, that's why I brought up Ickey Woods. Like, Ickey Woods when I grew up, I remember Ickey Woods grew up, but those commercials, the cold cut commercial and all that stuff, but then you hear about Ickey Woods, oh man, he's one of my favorite Bengals, with all due respect to Ickey. I'm not disrespecting Ickey here because I love Ickey. But I looked at his numbers, I'm like, well, I mean, I was expecting like an all-time great, but he wasn't, with all due respect to him. But we talk about him as if he's an all-time great because he's the most memorable. That's where Chad comes in. Chad had the numbers and the it factor to go along with everything, and I think that's what separates him from AJ Green.
I think that's one of the things that we just all have to come to realize is, sports is entertainment, and part of the entertainment is the touchdowns and everything the action that happens on the field, but it's the personalities that we remember as well. I mean, you talk about Ickey Woods. James Brooks was the leading rusher on those Bengals teams.
Yep.
Nobody talks about James.
We don't talk about James Brooks.
Exactly. Talk about Ickey Woods. So it goes hand in hand. Like you can even go back to the 70s with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody remembers Lynn Swann, but he had a running mate, John Stallworth. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. Like the big personalities we remember. Like we all know that Barry Sanders is one of the greatest running backs of all time. But Barry Sanders, even when he played, he didn't talk. When we see him in commercials, the big joke about him is he's not talking. That's a thing. So personalities in sports, they go a long way. And I mean, look at Shaquille O'Neal. Great Hall of Fame career. Having a Hall of Fame career after his sports playing days.
Charles Barkley. Guys like that.
Personalities. Like they're not putting Kawhi Leonard on Sports Center. They're not going to interview Kawhi Leonard when his career's over. He's not going to be on one of the talking heads on ESPN. He's just not.
All right, good stuff. Hour 2 in the books. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland & Summers. Kirkland & Summers, the divorce and family law firm of the Miami Valley area, with 5 attorneys to meet your needs. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the Greenway at Skyline Chili, the same 3-way you love, dressed up with green noodles. On the other side of the break, I'm going to tell you how you could win a Skyline Chili gift card. I'll tell you all of that on the other side, so stick with us. Plus, we're officially going to talk a little March Madness on the other side. We've been saving that for the last hour of the show. I promise you that's coming up next. Doug Toby says he needs some help. Alabama, Connecticut, or Texas? Final 8. I think you mean the lead 8, but either way, East region. I tell you what, we're going to take a look at that right now. We're going to get into around the corner, especially. We're going to take a look at our team to surprise, that surprise team that's going to make some noise and wreak some havoc in this upcoming tournament this weekend. The team that's going to disappoint you, the team that's heading in with all the hype and all the attention that's just going to let you down. The upset alert, the player to watch, and then we'll give you our Final Four international champion, all that coming up. Hour 3, it's a busy one. And hey, maybe, just maybe, the Bengals might sign an offensive lineman. Just maybe. But hey, let me tell you how you can win a Skyline Chili gift card when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
And now more Straight Talk from Straight Talk. The big wireless companies say they're the only way to get the best coverage.
Because they've got like a gajillion cell towers?
Something like that. But Straight Talk Wireless runs on those same towers, so you get the same great networks for up to 50% less.
I wonder if they're counting that one in Kickapoo, Kansas.
Oh boy. Switch today and get our unlimited plan for just $45 a month with 25 gigs at high speeds and no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible, while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris, Ohio has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefits package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at just over $17 per hour with annual increases. During the month of March, KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews every day from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply, or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
To make sure that the air in your home is absolutely perfect, call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They are offering up to $1,800 in rebates or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Lennox system for as little as $132 a month. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with Paper Mile Insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to win $1,000. It's the Swing for the Fences $1,000 a day giveaway. Each hour starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, we'll release a winning word that you can submit at wingam.com. It's easy, it's free, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So what's stopping you? Take a chance and swing for the fences and participate at wingam.com. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers. Hour number 3 with you here on a Wednesday. Make sure you head to wingam.com. We're starting to see the brackets start to be submitted left and right. It was a little slow at first. Like, when in the world, where's everyone's passion and excitement? But I forgot the tournament doesn't start as early as what it normally does. Because I was like, man, people are not rushing to get their brackets submitted. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those, I don't submit anything. Like, I've technically submitted a bracket already, but trust me, it ain't my final one. Like, I wait. Like, so for instance, Keith Byers every week during the football season does this eliminator league, and he needs our picks. But he needs our pick of which team we're going to pick for that weekend. He likes to get them earlier in the week, and I drive him nuts because I literally wait. I was like, you got to give me a deadline, and I'll usually come in after the deadline. No, but he tells me I need your team by Sunday before our Sunday morning tailgate show starts and all that stuff. And I literally wait until the show starts to give him my pick because I have to sit on it all week. I'm just one of those where I cannot decide until I absolutely have to, and that's how I am with this bracket. So I've filled out multiple brackets, and then there's certain matchups that I get to, and I'm like, my goodness, I'm having a hard time.
Brackets?
No, I mean, I haven't submitted multiple brackets. I have filled out multiple brackets because I'm like, I start to figure out, okay, which of these matchups am I constantly getting stuck on? And there's quite a few. There are teams that I am not comfortable eliminating early, and they're not the favorites. It's a lot of the underdogs because that's the thing. You can't go chalk in this. You never can. And you can always overthink it. Every year, people out there say, well, there's no way you could pick that lower seed over that seed because there's just no way. They're a low seed for a reason. And every year, you look foolish. Every year I look foolish. Every year I'll pick upsets that I think are going to be big upsets, and they end up not happening. But the bottom line is as we sit here today, there's quite a few that I'm stuck on that we'll go through. But head to wingam.com and at least get registered for the Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge presented by Orion Sports Medicine and Frickers. $100 in Frickers bucks will be awarded to the tournament bracket winner. Plus, if you fill out the perfect bracket, you win $1 million.
Money in the bank.
How about that?
Talk about a stimulus check.
I mean, right there. I mean, that's a lot of stimulus checks right there. I mean, do the math, which I'm not going to because that's something else, just like this bracket I'll probably get wrong. But go get that submitted now. Again, it's the Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge at wingam.com. Get your bracket submitted. Also at wingam.com throughout the tournament, the entire bracket, as well as all the scores live time, are going to be displayed at the top of the website. So you might want to mark wingam.com. It's going to be a good resource to continue to keep track of your bracket, as well as keep up to date with all the live scores and action as the tournament gets underway tomorrow. By the way, first four matchups, Kev. Usually Tuesday, first four, Wednesday, first four, Thursday's the first day of the tournament, but all first four matchups are going to be held tomorrow, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
Absolutely, man. I love college basketball, and especially this time of year, man. You know, the days of the games coming on Thursdays. I remember when my grandmother used to pick me up from school and everything like that. When she would get off work, I would go over her house or whatever, have snacks before my mom would come pick me up, and and everything. And she would try to go watch her stories. She would tape them on the VCR, and she would forget all the time that college basketball was on. So I would get to watch the games that were on while I was at school at her house before my mom come pick me up while she's mad that her stories didn't tape.
Her soaps?
Yeah.
You call them stories?
Yeah, stories. The stories.
The soap operas. The soaps. My grandma calls them the soaps.
Ah.
See, my grandma, she babysat us growing up. So every as a kid, she loved soap operas and Atlanta Braves baseball. So I grew up a Braves fan because the only thing the only thing I enjoyed watching was baseball at that point. I'm like, oh man, are these soap operas done? Are these soaps done? So the soaps.
Soaps or stories?
Soaps.
Let us know what you call them.
If this was the Dan Lebatard show, okay, all right, put it on the poll. Soaps or stories? Actually, I'm curious. We're live on Facebook. Soap operas. What do you call them? Soaps or stories? I've never heard them be called stories before.
Really?
No.
Oh yeah, we always call them stories. The stories are on. Yeah.
Is the Victor Newman guy still?
Yes.
He's still kicking.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Shayla, my wife, she watches it religiously. Yeah. Young and the Restless.
I remember watching the Titanic and be like, that's the Victor dude. That's the soap opera. That's the stories guy.
Victor Newman.
The guy from the stories.
Still kicking, man. Still kicking.
All right, folks. So here's the deal. I have an opportunity for you here to win a free Skyline Chili gift card. And all you have to do is, head to Facebook and search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the Greenway at Skyline Chili, the same three-way you love, dressed up with green noodles. So while you're out getting the St. Patrick's Day Greenway at Skyline tonight, just know that, you're going to maybe have a gift card coming your way. So head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, and here's how you'll be in position to win this card. You got to like the Justin Kinner Show page, and you got to share the live video. When you're on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, you will see the live broadcast of the show. I need you to share that, but you have to share it and like the show page. You have to do both. We'll draw the winner at the end of the show, and there'll be multiple winners. How many cards we even got, Kev?
We got 10.
10. 9, 8, right? 8. 5. Wink, wink. Multiple trips. All right. Okay. No, we got 10 Skyline Chili gift cards that we are giving away here today. But you have to head to Facebook. You have to like the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. And if you like the show page already, great. You're in good position. Just share the live video there, and we'll be drawing the winner at the end of the hour. So keep that in mind. So head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, and jump in that way. Okay. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Scott Whetstone on Facebook. I hope I said your name right, sir. He said, Procter, I did not know this, by the way. Procter & Gamble sponsored them all, and that's why they were called soaps. Is that true? I have no clue.
Is that true?
I have no idea. If he's BSing us,
that sounds good.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good, story right there. Story. Stories or soaps. My grandma, when I grew up, my grandma babysat us every single day. She never let us. It's funny. I'll go to all my friends' houses, and they have the kids shows on in the background. I'm like, I'd be a horrible parent because I would never let my kids watch what they want to watch. I'm like, I'm going to watch Sports Center. I'm going to watch what I want to watch during the day. And you know what?
It's fine. True.
So my grandma watched her soap operas during the day, and of course the Braves baseball at night. So I couldn't wait. That's why I was a big Braves fan growing up. Rafael Furcal, Julio Franco, Gary Sheffield, Chipper Andrew Jones. Bobby Cox. I loved the Atlanta Braves growing up. But she called them soaps. Kev, you said your grandmother calls them stories.
The stories. Yeah, I'm reading this article right now.
Daryl, shout out to the SEC committee. The stories. He said stories. Okay.
Cincinnati.com. Count on soap operas among Procter & Gamble's many successes. P&G was one of the first companies to sponsor daytime serial dramas, calling them soap operas.
So not stories. See, you have no idea what you're talking about. Stories. No, interesting nonetheless. Yeah, I heard you say it the first time. It caught my attention. I'm like, I don't know. But then I was like, I think he's talking about the soap operas because you're right. March Madness does eliminate all of that. But no, Scott said, no, it's true. He said that's Procter & Gamble sponsored them all, and that's why they were called soaps.
Yeah,
soap
I'm reading
operas.
the article right. I'll go and way back to the 1930s. Wow.
So there you go. Victor Newman's probably alive in the 30s kicking it. He's probably starring in soap operas as a 3-year-old. I don't even know how old Victor Newman is, so good for him. All right, we got to get back on track here. If only there was just enough sports in the world to talk about, we'd be able to actually talk sports on this show. So again, we're starting to get more people piling in here. Make sure you like the Justin Kinner Show page and share the live video feed, the live stream, video stream, and you'll be in position to win a Skyline Chili gift card. Again, celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the Greenway at Skyline Chili. It's the same 3-way you love, dressed up with all the green noodles. All right, so we had a March Madness question come in a bit ago, and again, Doug Toby says, he needs some help. He says Alabama, Connecticut, or Texas, and in the East region. So again, this damn thing's so dang big. I got to go through here and figure out where the heck they're even at.
Bottom left.
Bottom left. There we go. And the East region. That's just what he said. If I just pay attention. Where do I even have Alabama? Oh man, I have Alabama all the way in my Sweet 16. So I don't know what trouble you're at, as far as how far out. But this part of the bracket, the East region, fascinates me the most when you look at your bracket, folks, because here's the thing. I have a lot of upsets in this region right here. In fact, the 1 seed in this region is Michigan. I don't have Michigan getting out of the Sweet 16.
Wow.
I said this earlier, that when you have this bracket, the East region has Michigan State, it has Texas, it has UConn, who's playing good basketball right now. Alabama's really good. Of course, Georgetown's playing its best basketball. Michigan got the raw end of the deal. While they basically gave Gonzaga a cakewalk to the Final Four, Michigan has their work cut out for them. There's a lot of tough competition in the East region down here. I have Michigan getting to the Sweet 16 and being eliminated in the Sweet 16 by Georgetown.
Going with the Hoya paranoia. Huh?
I mean, it's not just because they won the Big East tournament. They were playing really good basketball. They were being overlooked a little bit even coming into the Big East tournament, even though they were playing good basketball down the stretch because of how much they struggled to start the season and even early on in conference play. Georgetown's been playing really good basketball. Patrick Ewing, it just, when you start rolling at this time, it's not about who's better. It's about who's playing better at this time. And that's why I'm feeling pretty good about rolling with Georgetown to the Elite Eight and all the way into the Final Four. I have Georgetown rolling into the Final Four as of now. Remember, I like to change things up a bit, so keep that in mind. But Michigan State, here's why Michigan State worries me. Michigan State is what? They're in the first four tomorrow. Yeah. They're an 11th seed.
What a matchup. What a matchup.
The first four is amazing. I'm so mad that it's not in Dayton this year because these matchups, I would have called off work. I would have been sick that day. I would not have been shown up to work. I would have made sure I'm glued to UD Arena, watching every one of these games. Michigan State, UCLA, you're right. That's one heck of a first four matchup. But Michigan State is an 11 seed. Mm-hmm. You put them in the Big East, Kev, they're probably a 5 or a 4. You put them in any other conference, Michigan State's probably a 5-4 or a 3 seed. Michigan State's a very good basketball team. What you do not have the luxury of when you play in the Big Ten is the margin of error. You have zero margin for error in the Big Ten, which is why a 4-game losing streak for Ohio State to close out the regular season did not impact their seeding at all. I know they were in position to win, to get the 1 seed, but ultimately they became a 2 seed. Yes, technically because of the 4-game losing streak. But Kev, how many teams can lose 4 straight games to close out the regular season and still end up as a 2 seed? That's how locked in they were all season. But that's how good the Big Ten is.
Right.
Losses in the Big Ten are better than some wins for other teams in weaker conferences. Michigan State's not an 11 seed. They're much better than that. They're beating UCLA. I have Michigan State beating Texas in the second round, and I have them beating Alabama to get to the Elite Eight to take on Georgetown. I told you it's an upset-heavy East region for me. I have Georgetown and Michigan State in the Elite Eight when those two teams match up.
The Elite Eight for me, I have Michigan and Florida State playing in the Sweet 16 with Florida State advancing. And I have Texas and Alabama playing in the Sweet 16 with Bama advancing to take on Florida State in the Elite Eight. I really like Scotty Barnes from Florida State. He's going to be a lottery pick. But Alabama, and we've been doing a lot of positive Alabama talk on this program lately, especially about that football team they got.
I'm Daryl McKinney, and I approve this message.
But, they're starting to play some good basketball down there at Alabama. Colin Sexton played there a couple years ago. Now they're bringing in some top-level recruits down there, and they shoot a lot of threes. They're basically playing 4 out, 1 in. They got shooters all over the place, and they have one big man that's responsible for getting all the rebounds. So they're one of those teams that if they're hitting their threes, they're going to make a run in this thing. But if they're not, they're going to go out early. But I got Alabama and Florida State in the Elite Eight in my East region.
Back to the Facebook feed we go. Again, we're live on Facebook. We appreciate everyone who's tuning in and hanging out with us there. McKinney says he calls it stories, of course, as we talked about. Now, Daryl McKinney goes on. He gives us the whole history here. He says in the ages before VCRs, soap operas came out. They came on at certain midday hours or half hours. The phrase "my story" was applied to them by their followers. As the world turns was popular, the term soap opera derives from the advertising that was presented, which interrupted my story.
Aha.
So there you go.
That's it.
Now, Paul Wilcox Jr. on here. He says stories versus soaps is an ethnic thing in the black neighborhood. It was stories from Cool Paul. So there you go. Maybe. I mean, yeah.
Might be. It might be.
Any white people out there call them stories?
That's a good question.
They're all the same thing. It don't really matter at this point. So there's that. But I can't believe we're literally March Madness, taking a break, talking soap operas, ethnic thing. You know, we're all over the place here. They totally fine. The East region, again, talking all things March Madness here. We're opening up the phone lines, by the way, 457-9464. Am I crazy? Forget Michigan, by the way, and I hate it. Juwan Howard, I can't stand Juwan Howard. And here's why I can't stand. You want to know why I can't stand Juwan Howard? Is because I like Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
And he makes me root for Juwan Howard. Like when he was ready to go, whoop some ass on the sideline the other day, I was like, I've never cheered during a Michigan game at any level before until that day. I wanted to see it. I'm a big Juwan Howard supporter. But no, I think Michigan got a very tough draw. They got a very tough draw in that East region over there. Again, they're a 1 seed. I think if Gonzaga's not undefeated, Michigan's the overall 1 seed, but you can't take anything away from what Gonzaga's done because, as we've seen, even at the mid-major level over here, you could be the better team, but you still got to win the games. And we have mid-major teams around here that were better than what they actually finished because they weren't able to close out games. It's tough to close out games, and that's where we're at with this. Let's move up to the West region, Kev. That's where, again, this is the region that Gonzaga plays in. They're the 1 seed. You look at who the 2 seed is in this region, and that's what I'm – this is in Iowa. And I like Iowa, too. Again, Iowa's another one. Are they better than what they're seeded? I think that the Big Ten, they're going to wreak havoc in this tournament because I think a lot of teams are underseeded because of the multiple losses they picked up throughout the season going up against better competition. Iowa's the only team I think that the Zags have to worry about, although I do love the feel-good story of Ohio being on this side. They were a part of a very magical run the last time they were in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they made quite, a Sweet 16 run. Ohio was one of the fun teams to watch during that season. But I have the Zags making it to the Final Four, taking out Iowa in the Elite Eight.
I have Iowa making it to the Final Four. They have something that isn't really appreciated, especially in the NBA, as a big man who can score in a post and dominate the paint. And Luka Garza is the best big man in college basketball. And they play that 4 out, 1 in style of offense, and they score a ton of points. But in an NCAA tournament, you need guaranteed points, and he gets buckets down there in the paint, not only on post-ups, but he gets a ton of offensive rebounds. I got Iowa going real far. And the way I fill out my brackets, I don't really fill it out with who I think is going to win the whole overall tournament. I just pick it game to game.
Oh yeah, half the time I surprise I'm like, oh man, that's a pretty good Final Four. Like I'm with you. I start at the upper left, work my way down, go to the upper right, work my way down, go back to I'm very meticulous. I go back then to the upper left, starting in the second round, and work my way down. Yeah, so I'm with you on that.
So I write it in pen and I don't go back. Whatever I get out the first time that's it. That's all that I'm not doing a whole bunch of changes. Now I can honestly admit I used to be multiple bracket guy back when, there were multiple pools I was in. I would have this bracket for this thing, this one. Now I just fill out one bracket and this is it. So I got Iowa going to the Final Four this year.
So I have Georgetown in the Final Four with the Zags as we currently sit here. Again, tomorrow, by the time the show starts, I have to have my final one, final. But see, the thing is, I have Michigan State going deep into this. I have them in the Elite Eight, so they're my first 4 winner tomorrow. Wichita State and Drake, by the way, it's another really good first 4 matchup right there. I actually have Wichita State, winning that one, and of course beating USC, and then going on to lose to Kansas. But I made fun of the West region, but the Kansas-Iowa is one hell of a matchup.
Yes.
That's one hell of a matchup, but still, Kansas isn't Kansas of years past. This is the result of cheating Kansas. They don't have as, their roster.
No, that's next year.
But it started. They had a lot of players opt out of it coming into this season.
Yeah, they opted out, and then they're about to get hit with some major sanctions this upcoming season. So, good old Kansas is not going to be around in the Big 12 too much. Well, they're going to be in the Big 12. They're not just going to be competitive at all. I look for Self to be probably up out of there. He's probably going to quit.
Take care of himself.
Yeah, get up out of Dodge.
Hey, you know what? Rick Pitino got a job right away. The other Richard Pitino, he got a job right away.
How about Rick Pitino getting Iona back into the tournament? Rick Pitino's the best coach in the bracket, man. Like, come on, man. Like, he gets everybody to the tournament. He's won championships at Kentucky, won a championship at Louisville, got Iona back in here. He's going to make another play for the big time again, man. He's a great coach. He may be a scumbag, but he's a great coach.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Summers. Kirkland and Summers, the divorce and family law firm of the Miami Valley area, with 5 attorneys to meet your needs. We're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. If you like the show page and you share the live video stream, you'll be entered to win a Skyline Chili gift card. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a Greenway at Skyline Chili, the same 3-way you love, dressed up with green noodles. We're giving away Skyline Chili gift cards. We have 10 gift cards to give away, so you need to head to Facebook. You need to share the show page, or you need to like the show page, and you need to share the live video feed. We're going to be drawing the winner coming up here at the end of the hour. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. When we come back, we'll take a look at the South and the Midwest regions and give you our Final Four picks on that side. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 70. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a low around 52. And tomorrow is going to be cloudy with rain, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spive at 1410 ESPN Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
O'Reilly. Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
Frickers is ready with Frickin' Madness. Frickers' new mobile app allows you to order online and score points for free food and loyalty visits. Frickers is ready for you to catch all the action of the March to the National Championship. Dine in and win with Frickers chicken wings, ice cold beer, and all of the games. Score big by downloading Frickers' new app and receive loyalty points, free food, and order online. Your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Menards is filled with great ideas for getting your home organized. No matter your style, we've got the closet options for you. Start with a wood and metal closet system that's easy to install, or upgrade to a customizable wooden Dakota closet system. Right now, all closet systems are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through March 20th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Spending more time at home? There has never been a better time to invest in your home. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. Can't watch your favorite basketball team in person? No problem. Audio Etc. can bring any game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc. today and experience 8K TVs and projectors. Surround sound? You haven't heard surround sound till you hear Dolby Atmos almost 360 degrees. It puts you smack dab in the middle with 11.2 channel surround sound. Audio Etc. has the brands, the deals, and the excitement. Audio Etc. powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon and Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out, because when you find the perfect home, you don't want to lose it to anybody else. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers and their agents greater confidence in you. We've already helped over 1 million clients just like you reach their home financing goals this year alone. So remember this. What can help you buy the home you really want? Rocket can. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET. That's rocketmortgage.com or call 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information, appraisal, and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Right now at Wendy's, with the Biggie Bag, you get a bacon double stack, 4-piece crispy or spicy nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That's a bag with real value. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, the Cincinnati Bengals made a move. No lineman. They're pathetic. The Bengals are re-signing cornerback Tony Brown. The former Bama star and, of course, former Packers defender is going to stay in Cincinnati. So, again, defense looking really solid for the Bengals. That's super. That's awesome. But I started this new thing. During that last commercial break, I went and I found 20 pictures, different pictures of Joe Burrow getting sacked. So I'm going to go back every time the Bengals announce that they've made a move. I'm just going to retweet it with the picture of Joe Burrow being sacked. That's all I'm going to do from now on. Every time. Just around, I feel like I'm actually helping the Bengals front office by just reminding them kind of what they need to do. Oh, man. But congratulations, Tony Brown, not an offensive lineman, re-signs with the Bengals. So there's that. Yeah. So anyways, okay, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on Facebook. David Shaw messages in saying the second leading scorer for Oklahoma has tested positive for COVID, will not be available for the first weekend and possibly the first game of the second weekend if the Sooners make it that far. And again, we were waiting to hear stories like this. Well, for one, everyone's like, man, it's been really quiet. That's a good thing. It's not really a good. I mean, yes, it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but there's no news to come out yet. I mean, a lot of this stuff's going to stay in house until it officially has to be announced, because you're going to notice when certain players are missing. There's no way they make it through this tournament unscathed.
Oh no.
However, I refuse to be super negative about anything not related to COVID, but super negative and question tournaments working out during this, because everyone's figured it out. And it's not fair. Like, let's say that this is, and this is true. I believe Shaw that on the reporting on this, I didn't really search for it, but keep in mind this story, like I'm seeing people react already saying, oh man, knew they shouldn't have had it. Just stop. You're playing during a pandemic. You can't play during a pandemic and then all of a sudden just have your sphincter tighten up because of a positive test. That's the reality of this. That's why these precautions were put in place. That's why the contingency plans were put in place. If this happens, this will happen. If this happens, if this player gets it, either the entire team's out depending on contact tracing, or if he's good, then everyone's going to play, which, by the way, I don't get how you can complete contact tracing and not figure out that he was around his entire team, but it's besides the point. I don't care. The bottom line is this tournament's going to happen one way or another. We went through this entire season for this exact point to get to this point. So, right off the bat, when I'm seeing social media reaction of, oh, here we go, I knew this was going to be a disaster, it's unfortunate. It's not a disaster. I mean, a disaster is the tournament being canceled like last year. A disaster, to me, from a sports disaster perspective, okay, because life's bigger than sports. I'm not doing the boob sports media thing where life is sports and blah, blah, blah. But I think we learned over this past year how much sports means to us, and it was taken away for a year. And I think that we all have to agree that sports is not going to be the same for a while. So this is going to be a part of it. And that's just the bottom line. So this is unfortunate, yes, but I don't think it's a black eye on college basketball at this moment. I think worse things have happened throughout the year. We've had teams who didn't play for, you talked about Rick Pitino a little bit ago. Iona didn't play for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
They had lost 6 straight. They didn't, they didn't play for a month and a half, and then they caught fire towards the end of the season and made the run in the conference tournament, and boom, here they are. I think not playing for a month and a half is way worse. I mean, it's not way worse. It's all bad. Just put it that way. Bottom line is teams have had to get through a lot of unfortunate things this year to get to this point. So on the other side, Michigan didn't play for 3 weeks. On the other side of this, seeing reports come out, I forget the report. The college basketball reporter said that he's getting numerous coaches reaching out to him saying that the conditions are just not good, that the players are locked up, the food's cold. It's just not a good situation. He's hoping that the players can last. Stop. You know how much money was spent to put them in the nicest hotels to get them the food that they need? By the way, I would kill to have time off from work to go be locked up in a hotel for a week, eat free food, and play basketball. That's a vacation. What are you talking about? If this is hard for them to handle, being at a hotel, getting free food, and playing basketball, if they can't handle that, man, they're in for a rude awakening when life hits them, when they got to get a real job. That's all I'm saying. Like, what are we talking about here? They're trying to paint a picture as if they're in these dark dungeons with no windows, and that they're locked up, and that, that the little gate in the door that opens up and someone throws a tray in with sloppy cold mashed potatoes and cold green beans and yesterday's chicken. Like, that's what we're acting like here. That's not what's going on. We need to stop painting this though the sky is falling thing. By the way, there's a lot of teams who would love to be in your position, so I'm just saying, I don't want to hear that.
Multiple things is Donovan Harmon. He's going to miss at least the first 2 games. He's
for Oklahoma?
For Oklahoma.
Okay.
Second leading scorer, averaging 13 points per game. Obviously, wishing him nothing but the best and recover from COVID-19, just like everybody else out there that's dealing with this terrible virus. 2, I don't believe that. So they got 68 teams in Indianapolis right now for the tournament and everything like that. I'm sure some teams are staying at, the Hilton, and I'm sure some teams are probably staying at the Best Western.
Got to be a 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed to get the hot tubs in your room, baby.
I mean, so I do believe that some accommodations aren't up to snuff, like compared to what other teams are dealing with. So that's another thing. As far as the tournament, I've been an advocate of questioning, like, should we be doing these type of things or not? Just playing sports and stuff. But like I said before, we just all have to realize it's going on. It's going to happen. You know, is billions of dollars on the line here. So not only for the NCAA, but for the media partners and all that type of stuff. So these games are going to go on. So saying like, oh man, I knew this, we shouldn't have did this. That train has left the station. That train left the station when they decided to play the college football season. Once they decided to play college football, college basketball was going to happen. They were going to have their March Madness. So us complaining about, oh man, this shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't be doing this and that. It's over, man. It's happening. You know, regardless of how you feel or regardless of how I feel, it's happening. So we need to get over that. As far as multiple people going to be tested positive for COVID, and yes, there's going to be multiple people. There's going to be multiple players that are going to not play in this tournament. There's going to be teams that advance without playing because a team had multiple players on the team test positive for COVID. We saw that happen in the ACC with Virginia getting knocked out because they had a player. Duke got knocked out because they had a player.
Look at Georgia
positive.
Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, they went to the ACC championship game and won the damn thing.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, they're choosing to play this tournament. These are the protocols they have in place. You're going to be watching. Like, it ain't like, oh man, they're doing something so wrong that you're not going to be tuning in. So I honestly just believe like we just got to get over it. You know what I'm saying? And that includes myself.
When I say get over, and it's not like I'm saying get over it. This virus, you know, it is what.
Don't let it dominate.
I'm just yeah. When I say get over it, as what I mean is like when I say get over, I shouldn't say get over it. What I should say is just accept it. You have to accept it. Now you don't have to get over it because
accept the fact that this is going to happen.
Yes, I guess that's what my phrasing should have been from the beginning because I've been saying get over it for a while, and I could see why that would rub people the wrong way. But from now on, my thing is going to be accept it. You can't tune into the games and be a basketball fan, and then when something happens, say, oh, see, I knew they shouldn't have been playing. You got to accept it. And if you can't accept it, then don't watch the games when they're being played and then turn around and say, oh, see, I knew this was a horrible mistake. And it's the same thing for the coaches and the players in the schools where you opted into play. That means you've accepted it. You accept it. And like we all knew to act like this was going to be a normal NCAA tournament where all 68 teams are going to one state to play, being distributed across the state to play at Hinkle and elsewhere. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is we knew it was going to be like this. You knew that you're being quarantined basically. Yeah, that's what you've technically, I mean, if you've been following the rules back here, this shouldn't be anything new.
Yeah,
I don't get it. And the hotels are bigger than your dorms, by the way, at college. So I don't understand.
To expect this to be the NBA bubble. Like, I think that's what
Disney
people
World,
are expecting. Right? I think that's what people are expecting, this to be the NBA bubble. Well, they just didn't have the amount of time to do that. You know, before the players showed up to the NBA bubble, they self-isolated for 2 weeks, and then they were asked
family do the same thing.
And then they were asked to self-isolate for 3 more days when they got to the bubble before, you know, to make sure nobody had COVID. And then they did daily testing. You really think the NCAA is going to do that? They're going to push back their precious calendar. They're going to spend all these X amount of dollars to make sure these things happen. No, they're going to do it on the cheap because that's what the NCAA does.
457-9464. That's the number to call in if you want to join in on the conversation. We're live on Facebook, and when you watch live on Facebook, you get to interact with us by leaving comments in the comment section. This question comes from Lamar. Excuse me. Lamar says, do we get a true champion or a survivor champion? Lamar, let me put it this. When we're talking about the NCAA tournament, I think every year you're getting a survivor champion. Kev, you say it all the time. This is not the best way to crown a champion. Like, I think we rarely get the best team winning the national championship in college basketball. But we love it anyways. We've accepted it, right? Like, but no, I see what you're saying, Lamar. I think you're meaning in regards to the virus of kind of a last team standing, basically of, you know, basically whoever wins the championship, it just means you were luckier than the other programs that you didn't have COVID. But you could say that about every sports team at every level, from high school all the way up to the pros, even college in the middle there. So do I think we get a true champion or survivor champion? I think when it comes to March Madness, every year it's a survivor champion. You survived the most crazy postseason tournament. Advance. Yeah, but I do know what he's asking. Yeah, so I'm not going to be. I know what. So I can't answer that now until we get to the end. I mean, like, let's say Gonzaga gets to the national championship game and they're projected to get there. But let's say that they were supposed to face, Creighton. Creighton ends up getting knocked out of the tournament because of COVID, and then they advance. And then here they got Iowa coming up, and then Iowa gets eliminated because they had virus, and then the Zags move on to this Final Four. that would be that would be a survival champion because you really weren't tested in the NCAA tournament. But as far as all of this goes, every team that's won the national championship in college basketball is a survival champion because you survived the most crazy, unpredictable postseason tournament in the history of sports.
Especially in college basketball and tournament formats. When you go to a tournament, there's going to be upsets that happen. I remember a year that Syracuse advanced to the second round and everything like that, and they were projected to play Michigan State in the second round, but Michigan State got upset by Middle Tennessee State.
Yep.
And then they played Middle Tennessee State and kept on rolling. Like, they weren't mad, like, oh, no, we want to play Michigan State in the second round. No, they lost. They lost their chance to play. Michigan State lost. And that happens all the time. Like a couple of years ago when Virginia lost to the 16 seed UMBC. You think the next team was like, oh, no, we want to play Virginia in that pack line defense. No, let's bring out UMBC and let's get a dub over UMBC and move on to the Sweet 16. That's just how it goes. And in a situation like this, yes, it's going to look weird. It looked weird with teams advancing in the ACC without playing games. It's going to look weird. But all we really can ask for and hope for is come Final Four weekend, we get matchups, we get good games, we get entertained, and everybody that has COVID recovers.
It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash. We have 2 minutes. We have time for one call. Kev, who we have?
We got Rick.
Rick, how are you, sir? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Quick comment on the COVID and athletes and sports in general. But it seems as important as sports is to all of America, everybody, whether it's moral support or financial support. Why don't they give the athletes priority and just vaccinate them all? And then we don't have to worry about if somebody goes out and parties with somebody that they're not supposed to be, or they're not social distancing or anything like that. Give them all the shot.
I know what you're saying because, well, to be honest, there was talk of that. There was talk that the NBA was going to allow players to kind of move up the line. It was the commissioners of the leagues that came back and said no because of the pushback. It would be a PR disaster. Rick, this is Rick, right? It would be a PR disaster for the NCAA, for the NBA, Major League Baseball, or any, if they let their athletes jump to the front of the line to get the vaccines. Now, here in the state of Ohio, I think on the 29th, anyone 16 or older can get the vaccines. I don't think it would be as big of a deal now. But back when they were making plans for this, when they were coming in a limited supply, there was no way they were going to give preferential treatment to college athletes who, all in all, were healthier enough to probably combat this virus than some of those who are not as healthy or in shape. So it would not have worked. It would have been a PR disaster, but I definitely know what you're saying. And then you would run into a lot of athletes would say, you're not going to force me to take this, which I do think is we're about to embark on that if the leagues decide to say, if you want to play in the NBA, you need to take the vaccine. Now we're kind of walking on a very touchy situation where you got to understand both sides to that.
Yeah, I understand that too.
But hey, Rick, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No, he's not wrong, but the NCAA would have been opening up a huge can of worms if they said every team has to have the vaccine before. The vaccines weren't even ready, and as far as, in bunches to get that done anyways.
Yeah,
but I know what he's saying.
And the rollout has been totally different in each state. I talked about this the other day. My grandmother, who's 90, she actually is going to go get her second shot this Sunday, but my aunt, her daughter, she's got both shots already, and she lives in New Jersey. We live here in Ohio, so the rollout's been totally different from state to state. I mean, there's players for the New Orleans Pelicans who are eligible to get it, and some players got it, some players didn't. But like the rollout is just different from state to state. So I think they're making a right call by saying, no, we're not gonna jump the line, so to speak. If you want to get it and you're eligible in your state, by all means, go ahead, knock yourself out. We would want you to get it, but them jumping the line, I think that will open up a can of worms that the NFL and the NBA and college basketball or college sports in general isn't ready for.
Now, people would be upset with it. I know we did this topic a while back. I said a while back, I wouldn't be offended at all if athletes got that opportunity. Maybe not so much in college, but the NBA, Major League Baseball, and others. When we talk about the importance of how much that this has damaged the economy, we got to stop acting like the athletes getting the vaccine to play is only benefiting them. Think of all the businesses that rely on professional sports to happen. Think of all the sports bars. Think of all the downtown economic impact of not having. Think about Columbus not having, that shoe filled for every home game this past fall. Think about UD Arena and how this community's been hit by not having the first four. You talk about just the Flying to the Hoop High School Basketball Showcase, the millions of dollars that brings to this community. The first four, the millions of dollars that brings to the community. Dayton Flyers basketball season alone, what that does for the fans who go out to stuff before, there would be a trickle down effect from how that impacts. I just used all college examples, by the way, me saying that it not at that level, but yes, it would. People would get mad and say, oh, they don't need it, they're fine, but them getting it to allow the sport to go on has a big trickle down effect as far as economics around the sport. We're well past it. I think we're getting to the point now where they can all get it. No one's going to complain about lack of supply for that. Maybe I'm saying that here in Ohio. I don't know what the situation's like in other states.
They better not get it before I get it.
Gotta wait till the 29th at least. But so there's that. Doug Toby on Facebook says, I've heard that the players get out of the room 70 minutes for practice a day and 60 minutes outside around the hotel, one to a room and food brought to the room. Just saying. Again, it's not convenient. This isn't, nothing. I don't care if I sound cold-hearted. They are having to do uncomfortable things just like we all have had to do uncomfortable things for us to either do our jobs or to live our lives too. They're not doing anything worse or more than what we have to do or have had to do throughout this. Everyone has been inconvenienced because of this virus. I'm not cold-hearted here, but let's stop acting like the end game, what they're going to be experiencing by going through this is not going to make it all worth it. Ask any kid that's going to play in the NCAA tournament. It is so tough to do. It is so tough to get to the NCAA tournament. And I'm just saying, I have a hard time believing that this is just torture for them. I really do. And by the way, there's technology. They're playing video games. They got their cell phones. They're FaceTiming everybody. They're fine. This isn't like solitary confinement where there's not even a light in the room and it's padded rooms and you don't have your cell phone. And no, I don't know. You should have just cut me off when I had the chance, Kev. Just saying.
You're on a roll.
Well, I get that way sometimes. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll step away for a few moments. We'll close it out on the other side. We'll go quickly through the South and Midwest regions because we got distracted. Or I got distracted. It's never Kev. Kev just lets me go, though. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect time to power up productivity and gaming victories. Now you can save what Dell employees save on high-performance tech. Save 17% on the latest XPS and Alienware computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, check out exclusive savings on Dell monitors, headsets, and accessories for greater immersion in all you do. Upgrade today by calling 800-BY-DELL. Again, that's 800-BY-DELL, or you can visit Dell.com/semi-annual sale.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Procter & Gamble, the company behind some of your favorite brands like Tide and Charmin and Pampers, is now hiring entry-level technicians at the Dayton Distribution Center. P&G is offering a competitive pay rate of $16.44 per hour for 8 and 12-hour rotating shifts, plus an additional per-hour rotating shift incentive. P&G offers a comprehensive benefit package on day one, including medical, dental, and 401k. For more information, visit pgcareers.com. Search for Dayton and apply today. Procter & Gamble is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, my name is Brian Summers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland & Summers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, We're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland & Summers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
What's it doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks Online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is the registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
For a limited time, the Home Depot and Frigidaire have cooked up something truly amazing in the kitchen. Even lower prices on Frigidaire gallery wall ovens with air fry and cooktops, including easy-to-clean induction cooktops, plus free basic hookup and delivery. With prices like these, it's time to take those kitchen remodel plans off the back burner. Bring on spring. With spring savings now on Frigidaire, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through March 31st, U.S. only.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. Tax season is here. We invite you to discover how we can make your tax filing experience easier. Our professional staff assures your return is accurate with maximum use of legitimate deductions. Since our founding, we have been trusted because of our knowledge of the tax code and for standing behind your return if the IRS calls. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Right now at Wendy's, with the Biggie Bag, you get a bacon double stack, 4-piece crispy or spicy nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That's a bag with real value. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to win $1,000. It's the Swing for the Fences $1,000 a day giveaway. Each hour starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, we'll release a winning word that you can submit at wingam.com. It's easy, it's free, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So what's stopping you? Take a chance and swing for the fences and participate at wingam.com. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. The NCAA tournament officially tips off tomorrow. First four matchups tipping off tomorrow. Again, usually sprinkled throughout the week on Tuesday, Wednesday. First round begins on Thursday, but obviously different lineup, and waiting for my laptop to refresh here so I can give you all the matchups and the correct times. But we went through the West and the West and the East regions just a little bit ago. giving our picks, at least as we sit here now, because I change it, and I have I'll never understand why people get so upset with people who change their brackets. Why? Who has multiple brackets? You're a multiple bracket guy. Who cares? Some days I'm feeling this team. The next day I'm like, I'm not feeling that team as much. So if I submit a different bracket on that day, so be it. But the NCAA First Four tips off tomorrow at 5:10. You're going to have Texas Southern and Mount St. Mary's. Now, a lot of these times are going to be overlapping times. Again, it's not going to be that block scheduling where, these two games play back-to-back and then these two games play back-to-back. Everything's going to be overlapping. It is going to be absolute chaos because
smorgasbord.
It's not going to be a group of games starting here and then the next round starts here. It's going to be everything is just going to basically overlap one time after the other. So at 5:10 tomorrow, Texas Southern and Mount St. Mary's battle of 16 seeds. The line is even for you bettors out there. Drake and Wichita State, both 11 seeds, they will tip off at 6:27. Yeah, 6:27. How about that? Drake is a 1.5 point favorite. Basically, it's going to be a tie. Who do you have in that one? I picked Wichita State.
I got Drake.
Drake just had their best player go out weeks or months ago, and that's why I'm like I'm bummed for Drake because for one, they're still in the tournament. They got an at-large bid. That's fantastic, but I think that there's still something missing because they're missing one of their key players who went out with an injury a while back. At 8:40, Appalachian State and Norfolk State in another battle of 16s. And then at 9:57, the West Coast matchup right there. This was done for all the LA peeps, I think. UCLA and Michigan State. That's on TBS. So
coffee.
Yep, UCLA, Michigan State's on TBS. True TV will hold Appalachian State and Norfolk State. They drew the shorter stick, apparently. And then True TV also, True TV drew the 16 seed stick because they got Texas Southern and Mount St. Mary's and Appalachian State and Norfolk. And then TBS got UCLA and Michigan State and Drake and Wichita State. Man, they did. True TV definitely drew the short stick. Why would you not let TBS have 116 and 111 matchup? They just gave them all the 16s. So more power to them.
Question.
More power to them, but that's tomorrow. Looking forward to that. I did see this story that NCAA plans to keep close tabs on betting for men's basketball tournament. According to figures released Sunday by the American Gaming Association, more than 47 million Americans are expected to make a bet on this year's NCAA men's basketball tournament, which of course tips off tomorrow. Now, this is what's interesting to me. The NCAA and gaming regulations in Indiana say that they are ready and they're going to be monitoring the betting action closely, saying that if suspicious betting patterns are detected, the IGC can order all bets canceled on a game. Here's what I don't like about that. Upsets galore happen. Let's say that there is a game that is about to lose them a lot of money. Is there any transparency at all as to what they're detecting that they could just cancel all bets for a particular game? Because couldn't they just go and any game that's not going to finish in their favor, that they're going to lose money, they could just say, oh, well, we detected some suspicious behavior there. We're canceling all bets on that game. Basically, you're SOL. I don't like that. I don't like. I get why they're trying to monitor suspicious behavior, but what is the suspicious behavior? I'm not saying that there's no such thing as suspicious behavior, but come on. Here's the deal, Kev. I said it earlier. You're going to play during a pandemic. Positive tests happen. I'm not going to say get over it anymore. I'm going to say accept it. You are going to play in a state. You moved your entire NCAA tournament to a state that has legalized gambling, legalized sports betting. I'm sorry. They use sports books galore, everything. You are going to move your entire tournament there, Kev. Deal with it. Accept it. There are going to be things that happen that aren't right. You can monitor it, but I don't like the fact that if any suspicious betting patterns are detected, they could just cancel all bets on a game. I think that's wrong because there's not going to be any transparency there. And I guarantee you, if there's any game that they're about to lose a crap ton of money, they'll just pull the plug on it and say, well, we detected suspicious behavior.
This is like Blue Chips. Remember the movie Blue Chips?
No.
You never seen Blue Chips?
30 seconds.
With Nick Nolte, Shaq, Penny Hardaway?
No.
Oh, yeah,
Speaking of Penny Hardaway, Flyers against Penny Hardaway on Saturday.
You got to watch that, man. You got to watch that. Watch Blue Chips. You'll see. You'll see.
Man, all we hear about is Jalen Crutcher and the weird love affair he has with Penny Hardaway. It's very strange. I don't get why he went to UD. He loves Penny Hardaway, so Penny Hardaway wasn't coaching back when he went to UD. But my goodness. That's all I'm going to say. NIT matchup on Saturday, Flyers and Memphis in the NIT tournament as well. All right, folks, that wraps it up for us. Until tomorrow, it's been the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland & Summers. Kirkland & Summers, the divorce attorney and family, or the divorce and family law firm of the Miami Valley area with 5 attorneys to meet your needs. Have a good night, everybody.
It's the Justin